Yeah, man. Greetings, Rastafari, Haile Emperor Haile King Selassie I, the first perfect balance Empress Menin. This is first man for Rastafari Indigenous Village, recognizing, accepting, promoting Lion Voice. Yes, the voice of Rastafari, speaking about Rastafari, educating Rastafari, preserving, protecting Rastafari. Give thanks.
Aye, Rastafari, mighty.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
Blessed love, this is Rashila representing for the Lion's Voice. Seeing? Yeah, man. Keep it locked right here, sir. On to Zion we go. Lion Voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right here, sir. Seeing? Rashila said that. Lion's Voice.
I'm Nyahbinghi. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Greetings, this is Junior Martin of Bob Martin and the Wailers. The time has come for the lion to tell his story. We have here the lion voice. So listen in and get nourishment for the stomach and for the head cup. Jah,
Rastafari. Give thanks.
Give thanks and praise every time.
Great honor, great honor.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
It's AWTITUDE representing for Lion's Voice. Yes, massive. This is the time for I and I, the lion, them to tell I and I story, our story. Yes, and we reign and rule like this. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie I reign and rule. You can't take the lion vibes, people. If you no fool, cause we know Selassie reign and rule. Reign and rule. Selassie I reign and rule. Queen Omega drop them in the fire, pull from them, no Queen Omega, she reign and rule. Royal Kushite, ancient essence, Emperor Selassie in a majestical presence, flash of all events, projecting through I and I events. We sing a song for the king, we bring joy and blessing and overstanding, yeah. We hear Jah every day, hey. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie I reign and rule. Yes, I lion vibes, Selassie I reign and rule. Attitude say that Boondocks, Black Organization of Global Diplomats optimizing expressions to the world. Till the world, till the end.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Yeah, Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I first. Tell the people about Empress Menin. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, but to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see the city streets them flood. But when the hurricane blow down their wall, I'll be by your side and me nah budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day. I made your light shine and answer I. Your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. That light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start mal, when they see their city streets them flood, when the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me now budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people. Maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Banso, aka the Chasmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Voice Live. Welcome to Lion Voice Live, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Today's episode is a special treat for I and I. We are here championing Rastafari independent, non-aligned media. However, I've been very transparent that I was called into the order of the Nyahbinghi as a young Ras. I don't know any other tradition. And upon reflection, I was a student at Jerusalem schoolroom here in Washington, D.C., studying under some of the great legendary elders who came to America on a mission. And I am one of the fruits. I always say I'm one of the fruits of the 1988 trod of the Asians to America. Elders like Ras Pidao, elders like Ras Iris, although he wasn't a part of the official 88 trod, he was here in DC with us. Brother Jack, or Pa Jack, which allowed I to meet elders like Bongo Shefan, Mama Bubbles, who was here with I and I for some time. These were Brass Marcos, these were elders Nana Faraika. These were elders that I was blessed, and it so happened that they were trotting out of the order of the Nyahbinghi. So in Washington, D.C., we would have ISIS every Saturday, every Sabbath, ISIS riding up. So I came up in that environment. I was looking through some documents. My brethren Bingi Shan is working on a documentary. So I went into the archive and I was seeing all of these documents that we used to produce as Nyahbinghi Youth Council, and the works that we did. We were trained on the kete, the funde, and the bass drum. In those days, you had to learn your psalms, you had to know the fire key. Every man had to be a priest. A
prophet and a king. This is the order that we learn. I was telling a young Ras the other day, we chatting in a vehicle and police stop us. Every man a hold them seal and a chant psalms in unity. You know what I mean? Police are shake when them come up to all the car. I tell you them, we live these things, you know what I mean? So it's really a joy to I and I, because we know the power that the Nyahbinghi play in terms of the foundation, the 1-2 order. You know, Bobo Shanti would tell you, said they're Nyahbinghi, although they have a different way them play the harps, you know what I mean? Even at a 12 tribe gathering you go, they would chant some Bingi, you know? So Bingi becomes one of the anchor school of vision. There are so many that whole, you know, aspect of the Nyahbinghi order. So it's an order that we want to preserve, you know? And today we're going to reason with 3 Nyahbinghi elders who have been spearheading reasonings on the amendment of the Nyahbinghi Guidelines, which in itself was a revolutionary document. We have Ras I with us today, who was one of the witnesses and one of the primary drivers of the first guideline. So we're going to go into some Nyahbinghi history today. So all of the global family that watch this, just know that we're in for a treat. Get your ital snacks, get your meditation, get ready. But before we go into that, we have a breaking announcement that we want to share with the family. You know, we promised that we would have some big announcements to share, and so said, so done. We want to let me remove the surprise them, because we don't want the item. We don't want to bring forward the guests them yet. But we have a big event coming up. The RMO Hurricane Relief Lion Voice Network will be a sponsor. We're raising money to reshape, reimagine how Rastafari manifests in Jamaica. That means that, yes, Hurricane Melissa wipe away some of our centers, but when we rebuild, we don't want to rebuild with zinc and board. We want to have proper design plans. We want vision, the eco-friendly, the solar, the off-the-grid, everything that we know a modern Rastafari center should have, with its cold storage for the produce, the food farm, the food forest. We want design, redesign, reimagine. And this fundraiser is to go toward raising the funds to make this possible, using the storm as a way to provide relief to the ones who are homeless, but also to provide refuge. So let me just play a quick video. There's a unity, unprecedented with Rastafari media, but don't take Iman's word for it. Let's listen to with brethren.
Open your eyes and wake up now, my people. See what Hurricane Melissa did to my people.
My people, RMO, Rastafari Mansion and Organization in association with DARK, EWF, CRO, RCC, IDOR, TRAN, Global Run present a fundraising webinar called Relief, Rebuild and Rise, the Rastafari community in response to Hurricane Melissa devastation of Jamaica. Sunday, February 1st, 2026. Time 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. This is not to be missed. Featuring Prince Haile Selassie, Dr. Julius Garvey, Sister Carol, Julian Marley, Rocky Dohoney, Empress Sativa, Gramps Morgan, Kabaka Pyramid, Yami Bolo, Muta Baruka, Janine, Spraga Benz, Riza Islam, Priest Kailash, Dr. Bobby Holistic. This is in aid of rebuilding Rastafari centers as hub for relief, recovery, and resilience. As His Majesty say, we must become something we have never been. Greater in spirit, larger in outlook. Most High, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. See you there.
Historic family. We're not staying where we are. Rastafari, from its inception, has been a movement of Jah people. You know what I mean? Forward, ever, backward, never is the motto. Don't feel like what you come see is what is going to be there. However, within that growth and development, how do we preserve the anciency? Some would argue against papacy, a paper write down, too much rules, you become like Babylon. But then the question is, how do you preserve for generations to come once the keepers of that knowledge? How do you ensure that the intent is captured, the tradition, the ritual, because ritual brings that synchronicity. Ritual have purpose, everything can be free up because what happens is that it leave room for the loosey-goosey. So we are going to have the reasoning today, and we have 3 Rastafari elders. Big up all of the sponsors, Frontline Books. We're also going to be launching a new ad packages for artists. If you're dropping a single, authors, you have a book you want to promote, we're going to be dropping some ad packages so that the item, all of that real estate in the intro was done intentionally as a community marketplace so that we can have the audience, we can now give our people who are entrepreneurial opportunity to reach a larger audience. We are 60,300, almost 300 strong in the Lion Pride, and we're going to continue to grow. And so, again, we are going to direct our capital, circulate our dollar, and we are going to become a force in this global landscape. We're going to redefine, and we are redefining media. Big up to everyone who has followed us on TikTok, who has followed us on IG. Those are new pages. Facebook, new page. We are going on all of the platforms. We have 2 viral videos on Instagram already. Big up all of the ones them who are supporting, sharing. This is a movement, and no sovereign people can be sovereign without controlling their media. So I give thanks for the monthly subscribers, the ones who are coming out of pocket because they see the vision that we have to invest and we have to fund ourselves. Nobody's coming to save us. I keep telling the item that. So we see what time it is on earth. Who have eyes, let them hear. Who have ears, who have eyes, let them see. Who have ears, let them hear. We know it's Gideon time, so we have to consolidate, have to have our own platforms. And I give thanks to the item, 60,000 now plus who are joining this movement. So gratitude. All right, housekeeping out of the way, family. Get ready. We have a power panel today. Nyahbinghi, the Do Good Order, is here on the Lion Voice Live platform. Help I to welcome. Give a warm Lion Voice welcome. Lion Pride welcome to Bingi Glenn, Ras Isaiah, and Ras Ivy. Royal greetings, family.
Haile Rastafari, blessing and love.
Eyes is all on there. Greetings.
Can
we fix your light? Okay. That is Royal Priest Isaiah, beautiful daughter. Can you put the phone on its side like this?
Okay.
Yes, and put it on auto rotate. Yeah, make sure it's on auto. And Ras Ivy, can you switch around so that light is behind the eye?
Not hearing you,
behind the phone.
Not hearing you. No volume
Say
whatsoever.
it again. What's it?
No, I'm saying, can you turn your phone to the side? And
I don't know if anyone else can hear you, but I cannot.
You can't hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
I trust I
Hold
know
on, we're working it out, family.
Yes.
We're working it out. Can you hear I?
Yeah.
I am hearing the eye
Okay.
clearly, clear. I'm hearing the jack box clearly.
Okay, but I'm saying, can you flip around that light behind you? We can't see the eye face, Ras Ivi. So if that light can go behind the phone.
Kwasi, we're not hearing you. You have to fix the volume, Kwasi.
Okay,
Not hearing you.
try. Yes, I see.
Can you hear I?
Hear I? Ras Isaiah daughter, can you hear I?
Yes.
Okay, it's just the eye. Tell Bingy Glenn.
I cannot hear you, Kwasi. I cannot hear you.
Yes, hold on. We're working
Sister
it out.
Jacolia, can you hear I? Sister Jacolia?
Yes. Yes. I can hear everyone, including Ras Ivi. I can hear.
Okay. So you can't hear I, Bingy Glenn. Tell Bingy Glenn that I'm speaking to him.
The Jazz Mass. Check your microphone. Not hearing you.
Yes.
Check your microphone.
It's just the eye. It's only the eye. All right, beautiful. Jacolia, can you tell Bingy Glenn to exit and come back in?
Bingy, you can hear me?
We're working it out, family. Give thanks for the patience. It's going to be a monster reasoning, so we
Ras Ivi, your turn, so you have to come, so.
Put it on auto
Ras
rotate.
Ivi.
Put it on auto rotate, Ras Ivi. We're working
Sideways,
it out,
Ras Ivi.
family.
I don't know if you can hear I. You have to
What a
bring
joy.
the camera up.
What a joy. In a Zion. Wait. The reasoning I go sweet.
Not good, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Just, we'll work with it that way. Greetings. We'll work with it. So in the meantime, while
the Jazz must Kwasi.
Yes,
Can you hear I and I? Kwasi.
I hear the eye.
I cannot hear you.
Go out and come forward.
Yes, I.
Go out and come forward because we can hear the eye. Everyone else can hear I except for the eye.
Oh, I saw? Okay.
Yeah, so just go out and come out and confirm. All right, family. We're working it out. We don't panic. The Lion Pride know Wi-Fi issues happen. We don't panic over here. We
Benji,
take
come here.
time and we get through and we're gonna have the reason.
Come this way, so now
we're
you have to
talking
be on
about the
Nyahbinghi
Nyahbinghi
I want to exit and come
guidelines
back in. How do I do that?
tonight. Yes, order of the Nyahbinghi tonight. We're working it out, family. Ras Ivi is the idea.
Yes, I'm hearing the eye, Rasta. I just need to get things back on track.
Okay. Because we're not seeing the eye, but we know due season. Give thanks, Jacolia, for holding the post. You can. His daughter is here holding the post. Eh?
No, I was showing you earlier when I asked I had heard about the network. And it's true that when we had the interview, I went on and watched the interview and I could tell it was a very touching piece for as a young daughter that came up with a Rastafari within Nyahbinghi. So I have to really big up the eye for stepping up and offering this level of content, for once, and really putting the message out there, especially for the younger generation to come to know that there's space, space for growth, space for advancement, space for unity. So much respect, on the I platform and the works that the I put in forward.
Give thanks. The I know the I made idea, right? You know that?
No, true. I can definitely say it is true, the interview, because I was really in the system doing my thing, working and stuff, but it really touched I and tell me, I have to do what is right,
Yes.
And
yes.
That is
We're
the most
just at the,
important.
we haven't scratched the surface of our potential as Rastafari people, you know, and
Yes.
we have to know our elders were not wrong, but there are things that our generation have to come and add to the table now, you know, certain structure, institution building, economic development. That's our generation, you know. So the elders did what they were supposed to do, which is leave the foundation. But now it's not supposed to be that we just stay with elders brought to the table. It's that now we have to build the schools, the health centers, the stores, the everything that we need. We have it within ourselves to develop and to build. Greetings. Uh, unmute yourself, Bingy Glenn. If you can hear I.
I cannot hear the eye, Kwasi.
You're still not hearing I? Do you have anything plugged in? Jacolia, ask him if he has anything plugged in.
Bingy, you have anything plugged in? Your device,
Can you hear I?
check. You can hear me, Bingy?
But I cannot hear the eye.
Okay. Do you hear Jacolia? Call him Jacolia.
I was hearing you up until you went into the intro. And then after that, since then, I've not been able to hear anything.
All right. We're working it out, Bingy. Jacolia is on the case.
Haile,
I love work with the youth.
Yeah, Bingy, go into your settings.
Settings.
In your volume.
Let me mute.
Volume.
Yes, your
This is
volume.
real life. This is real world, people.
No, but it was working from before.
This is real world. Let them work it out.
We can all hear you. You on your laptop?
Hold on. Let them work it out. I love that we have the people them here. We have our elders tonight, so you don't know. It take a little time for sort out, but we are working it out, and it's gonna be a mighty reasoning. And we have the young Jacolia. What is your age, Jacolia, for the global family?
Well, I am 40 years strong.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. There I look so young.
Give thanks. Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm actually
I did not expect that answer, you know. There I look
yes,
so
I'm
young.
the first
There is
generation.
a fully grown Rastafari sister. Yes.
Definitely a first generation Rastafari youth from Barbados. You know, I can say I'm one of the first Nyahbinghi youth to really come out of Barbados. And there are many of us, many of us, you know.
Okay.
But it's just to, you know, get everyone back in gear and back in action.
Yes. So the item see that it's Armageddon time. How do you see the global, what's happening around the world right now?
Well, I could definitely say it's not anything new. History definitely repeats itself. I just think it's where we will stand at this time. You know, in the technology world is quite different, you know, compared to previous times. As you see, something as simple as what we are doing now can be quite a challenge with all of the technology that we have. So I think it's really empowering ourselves when it comes to, you know, the fragile areas within the community, you know. And what's happening in the world is always going to be happening. I feel if we come together, those things might not affect us as much as they affect us now in the day-to-day.
Yes. Greeting. Can you hear I, Bingy Glenn?
No, I can hear you. Can you hear I?
Yes, I.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's the kind of.
Yeah. But the great thing is that the Lion Pride, this audience know not to panic. We have technical difficulties. A lot of the ones that we have on this platform are not ones that typically do interviews and things. So it's because of the work that we do and the mission, you know, that we are getting to have these reasonings in the public space. And I really do give thanks, you know what I mean? And it's going to be a mightyful reasoning. and we're looking forward. But in the meantime, while we wait for the other ones, them, can the I just give us a introduction to the reasoning and just introduce the thyself since it's your first time on the platform, Bingy Glenn?
For sure, yes, I.
We're not seeing the
Um,
eye now. We're not seeing the eye.
oh boy, hold on there.
Yes, family. It's going to be one of those reasonings. You know the fire red.
You know the Pope are gonna try step in
Yes,
and
yes.
cross up. It's always happening. You know that's how it go. You
That's
know,
right.
when the
That's
hockey
right.
season is coming, it's always a challenge. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
they don't want the information out there for the world to see. You know, so you
No.
just have to have patience with this. Everybody's soon gonna be in and good.
But you see how His Majesty send the eye as the next generation for just balance the whole energy. So everything balanced. All right, Bingy Glenn, give us an introduction to the eye and to the topic. All right, video gone again.
Oh shoot. Mm.
Yes, family, if you're just joining us, we have Bingy Glenn of the Nyahbinghi House, Ras Isaiah of the Barbados Nyahbinghi House, Ras Ivy of Jamaica Nyahbinghi House. So we have New York, we have Barbados, we have Jamaica Nyahbinghi Brethren, who are all also a part of TRAN, which is the Theocracy Reign Order of the Nyahbinghi. It's been an online forum joining the Bingi houses across land and sea, and they have embarked on the revision of the Nyahbinghi Guidelines. So the original guideline didn't have things like marriage in there, you know. What do we do when somebody pass away, you know, burial, these things that we realize in a modern world, we have to take care of these things according to the tradition because it's not fair. A man tried being him whole life and then when he pass away, you leave it to his family who don't respect him. You know what I mean? Them a call all kind of name when a man pass away. And it's a way, you know what I mean? So these are the things that we realize that if the Nyahbinghi is going to go from generation to generation, then while we have some of the original foundation elders alive, you know, the order has to be set, it has to be written, so that
No,
if there is, you know, as it spreads around the world, the order can be preserved. So that is the reasoning that we're going to have today, about the process, the history. Ras Ivy was there with the drafting of the original Nyahbinghi Guidelines, seating at the foot of elders like Ras Bona G's. Ras Isaiah is also a student of Ras Bona G's, who is acknowledged as one of the founding members of the Nyahbinghi House through the Youth Black Faith. The first ones who started to grow their locks, you know, looking at the Mau Mau in Kenya and seeing the tradition. Nyahbinghi Order, you know, death to black and white down presser rose in the streets of Jamaica. And through the work of Ras Bonagis primarily, but through the elders generally, Nyahbinghi has spread around the world. So there have to be some standards, some guidelines, some structure. All right, Bingy Glenn, make we try now.
Yes, family. Glory to word, glory to sound, glory to the power of the Most High. Kadamawe Haile Selassie first. Yes, family, we give thanks for life. And may the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be found acceptable in the sight of the living eye. Kadamawe Haile Selassie first, and I strengthen and I redeemer. Yes, I. First of all, I royal salute to the Jazzmash Kwasi, who I have had the pleasure of working with since 2011. You know, and I had known him from when the elders first made the trot from 1988. See, Kwasi, I don't know, but I can recall those days when back in 2011 when Mama Bubbles was going through some challenges and how I rise to the occasion, just concerned
Yes, I.
families of Rastafari. And then in 2012, we arranged and sponsored Mama Farika to go to South Africa. Said those were the days, when the works just start, So when they had that diaspora conference in Johannesburg, and I gave her a letter to take down there, and to utter a sound, representing Rastafari. So those were the early days, see? So that being said, royal salute the jazz match, and the work goes on. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into my personal biography, so to speak. Been trotting the trot about more than 50 years now,
Yes.
and came to the shores of the United States in 1974, helped to establish the Nyahbinghi in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, which was the second largest gathering of Rastafari outside of Jamaica at that time, and was one of the seven brethren who came together, during Battle of Ottawa time and reasoned about starting a Bingy house in Brooklyn. Leave if you're going to do this, leave. And, we started the first Bingy house in Brooklyn during that time, And, the trad has just been going on since then, We have, over the years, as time go along, we started Tron Global, with the vision of seeing the global Nyahbinghi Rastafari family coming together. And from those time till now, we just have taken on a number of initiatives, and traveling to different parts, regions, wherever the Rastafari family is, whenever it's possible, and giving us strength, Yeah. Now the Nyahbinghi Guidelines. It is very important. I really want to focus my attention more on the Nyahbinghi Guidelines than about I personally. Um, I'd like to first of all highlight the fact that in the 1940s, when the order was established, the Nyahbinghi Order was really just governed by an unwritten set of laws and based upon interpretation of prophecies written in the Island scriptures and the conception of pioneering elders centered around the Nazarite vow, These pioneer priests and teachers used to meet in a private yard on 9th Street in the heart of the ghetto of Kingston, and they rallied there with like-minded Rastafari youths who were already alienated by Babylon and the other fragments of Rastafari groups, due mainly to the deification of His Majesty, With no apology to you, them, cite His Majesty and the divinity of His Majesty. Well, these elders such as Bongo Watto and Bongo Time taught youths that theirs was a peculiar lifestyle, you know, um, that this lifestyle was different and separated them from the Babylonian ways and lifestyles, and involved and involved not partaking in blood and drunkenness and any form of immoral practices, you know. So the rising up of the Nyahbinghi Order from them time there was a great pride in this way of life, you know. Yeah. And the youths them eventually took a vow of consecration to Haile Selassie I And in 1947, they identified themselves as the Youth Black Faith, you know. And some of the elders them in them time, they like Bongo Puru, perfected the Nyahbinghi heartbeat, the Nyahbinghi drums, you know, and shunned the other ways that things was being presented, like the communal and other African spiritual movements, and the colonial Babylon Christianity, which, you know, was well, very widespread in Jamaica at that time. So, you know, I took a vow of consecration of Anti-Kadamar Haile Selassie first, you know, and I, like I said, shunned the Babylon Christianity and more embraced the Ethiopian Orthodox faith and the Ethiopian Orthodox calendar, you know. Over those formative years, you know, the elders practice organic overstanding of the Livity based on the customary mores and traditions and principles of an Ital lifestyle, which included a strict vegan lifestyle or strict vegan liveth, you know. The elders, turn it down. The elders at that time defined the precepts and tenets of the Nyahbinghi Order, which they recited orally, but it was never documented on paper. In setting up the tenets and the precepts, they also included, and I recognized Isla days and celebrations centered around Kadamari Haile Selassie I and Empress Menen. No part of these customs or lifestyle was constructed as a deliberate act of a lawmaking, you know, entity. And we should know that no law can function effectively without taking into consideration the customary mores, traditions, and principles of the people. Yeah, it was not until after 1986, the 1986 delegation to the island of Ayanola or St. Lucia, that it was noticed that, and this gathering was a gathering of ones from many of the islands in the Caribbean. And at this gathering, the realization came about that there was a difference in how each one's in the different islands cite the Livity of the Nyahbinghi Order and Rastafari, you know, and there were certain practices like man putting all 21 pepper in a pot of ital stew, you know. There's no regular pepper, we're talking about the Scotch bonnet pepper, you know. And, you know, the elders went forward to Jamaica and at that point and that time, and they came to the conclusion that it was necessary to document a set of guidelines that everyone globally could have in one concert. And I have the privilege of having amongst I one of the main Idrian young scribes who sat at the elders' feet and documented everything that the elders had to say that they thought should be included in the guidelines. You know? So that first set of guidelines was more based on the heretical. It never really addressed the secular portions of finite liberty, you know, and so it was that time now, and then in 1987, it was finally agreed that, so, you know, the guidelines need to be officially released.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, so from that time onwards, Rasta, that's how the thing has been.
Yes, yes.
By the way, is
When I came into the order,
yes, sir.
I came and saw the guideline. You know, that was one of the things that we studied, which wasn't strange to I and I as college students. You know,
See it?
so we were grateful. I'm talking about Washington D.C. You know, a student at Howard University, and you know, coming to the Nyahbinghi house, we had different paper and things that were there. That time, the guidelines was printed on paper. You know, what I mean, it wasn't. That was before the internet was very popular. And we studied it because the guidelines told you the fire key, which psalms, and as a young Ras, you wanted to go home and to learn and memorize the psalms so that you could block it in the gathering, you know, because everyone would take a psalm that was kind of like saying, I'm here, I've arrived, you know what I mean? I'm a fire stick in the whole collective. So that's how I learned about the Nyahbinghi Order. It was that there wasn't any priest higher than another priest. Every man, Nyahbinghi man, was expected to be able to hold up the order. You know what I mean? And I was impressed by that. Yes, there were 7 priests. And I have to also acknowledge Irie Lyon, who was one of the key Asians that came and spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C., and really helped to bring the order. We used to chant till daylight, you know, every Saturday, chant till daylight. And then when we seal up chanting, we go turn on the news to see what piece of Babylon dropped. That's how we used to do it, you know. I tell you, this is and every morning, every Sunday morning, like clockwork, something drop, earthquake, yeah, so this, that. And we used to hold a joy because we know we pierce some, you know, some seal and some chakra as young impos, and you know, we were doing our part spiritually. And the power of the Nyahbinghi drum, um, you know, we take it very serious. You know, that is one thing that people have to know about Nyahbinghi people. In those days, you chat with your drum, you know what I mean? You could check a brethren 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you just start chant and chant start ride, you know what I mean? That is how it used to be. Royal greeting, Bingy Glen.
Yes, I love it. I'm
And
having challenges with the Rasta because
yes,
I am on the phone
yes,
and is you know whenever the phone ring, it just cut me out and I try
yes.
cut
Just
off
put
the
it,
phone. You
yeah,
know,
put
so
it
it's a
on do not
challenge.
disturb. If you can put it on do not disturb, it will stop it from ringing during the reasoning. Just
Okay.
swipe down the top.
iPhone? Bingy, you have an iPhone?
Yes.
Just on the side, you know, the little button for the ringer? Just click it off. Pull it back.
His Majesty call upon the young people, although she's not as young as I thought, but she very helpful.
I get
All
that
right.
all the time.
All
Yes,
right. So I muted the ringer. I see we have Ras Ivar forward.
yes,
So as I was saying, I was just giving that brief introduction still and keeping it going until we get him forward. So Ras Ivar, we're at the portion where I and I spoke about the gathering of 1986 at Ionola and the gathering in 1987, the Nativity ISIS, where it was decided that the guidelines need to be penned. And there I being a witness from that time, one of the few ones who are even still alive right now who could give that sort of, you know, coverage and share their experiences and give us the fullness of that from that time. See? Give thanks.
unmute thyself, Rasaivi. You're muted, so just unmute. All right.
I think he's trying.
Unmute. Try again.
Look,
Give thanks for everyone's patience. If you're watching live, this is Lion Voice Live. Is that the great Sister Icelia in the forward there? We're going to get her for our interview, you know.
I
Everybody calling in them daughter.
Celia, see if you can turn on the mic for daddy.
Yes, unmuted Icelia, sister Icelia. You see, these elders have their children around them. I love it. I love it. Because Mr. Bingy Glenn's son, I walk around in the forward. So everyone have them youth. Love it.
Yeah, man.
Yes, Rasta. All right.
Aile.
It seemed like she had the magic finger, because I've been touching probably too lionish. You want the lioness touch, you know?
Yes. Welcome forward. There is no stranger to the Lion Voice Network. Some of our classic episodes on coronation, on His Majesty's birth. Ras Iva is no stranger. But tonight, we're talking about the guideline. There is a witness, you know, and one of the main drivers of that movement. We want to get the history, Ras Iva. So please, bring us up to speed.
Let the words of thy mouth and the meditation of thy heart be acceptable in thy sight, O thou most high, Kadamari, Haile Selassie. And I do give thanks for His on earth, for their goodness in creation that even spark I and I, a light that is shining forth in the Livity of Rastafari this day. And we give thanks to the forebears who took on the task of being different in a society where Rastafari was unwanted, and these ones stood up and bore the brunt of tribulation to send this message. And today we feel so joyful to see it spread globally across the globe, that even on this platform, you know, there's a global presence. One just wanting to know how this Nyahbinghi guideline came about. So, you know, as a young man coming up in Nyahbinghi, we leave school and go Bingi, you know. It's like, you know, the last year of school, 73 into 74, going to 75. It's like a Bingi, you know, because we were searching scriptures, wanting to find the truth. And, you know, it never in the dance hall, because the dance hall did have too much curry goat and liquor and all kind of lewdness and things. So it wasn't dance hall, it wasn't the reggae music. There were certain music that sparked some real consciousness. Yeah. But you see, when we find Nyahbinghi, oh my, Rastafari, it was Zion on earth. It was the elder patriarchs and matriarchs, and you see children and grandchildren, and you say, yes, this is the place. Yeah. And you know what, them time, you know, them early days, we had a lot of frequency. Yeah. You had ones who were still riotous eaters of flesh. Some ones dare to bring certain things secretly into the gathering that was not to be consumed. There were elders who were italists who did oppose to the elders who were not ital. So there was a lot of things happening as a young man coming into Nyahbinghi, but we were humble as youths, my brother and I, and you know, I as another brother. We were just at being observing and seeing how ones were just trying to get things right, you know, and ones who, from a different knowledge, never inclined to be ital, and there were ones who had experiences within ital who never worked out health-wise for them. Probably they were too extreme, and then went back to, you know, animal eating, and these things were the things where I look at as youth and say, why these things are cause problem, you know. But the scripture was the mainstay, yeah. The Bible in itself is like all the elders, you know, all the priests is like it was scripture. Bingi was drums and chant, and there was a time for prophecy. And we give thanks for those elders, you know. We had Bongo Puru, we had Rasbona Cheese, Bongo Time, we had Terminite, we had Bongo Shefan, all the names, a long list of names that today have joined the ancestors. But these were stalwarts within the order, within a priesthood circle. And as youth, you learn so much things. You know?
Yeah, man, legends.
My first trod in the international scene now to see Rastafari was in 1986. There was a a program that the British government had put on titled Caribbean Focus, where they invited Caribbean islands to come and have their arts, crafts, and presentations on display. Ras Bonages, myself, Ras Ivel, and Ras Historian and others made that trip from Jamaica. And we went and we met other ones. Give thanks, we saw Bongo Wisely, who's still in the order today and still one of the stalwart brethren over there in St. Lucia and so on. So we met then in the UK and, you know, get to see another set of races. And when we look, what the Livity seem one and the same. Yeah, the bingy drums were there, the vibe, you saw the 12 tribe of Israel, you saw the Ethiopian World Federation, you saw races in different groups, but Nyahbinghi was central. So coming forward from the UK with a bang in 1986, the summer, by the November, Bongo Wisely and others who were part of that Eastern Caribbean nucleus decided on having a gathering among the islands, you know, the neighboring islands. So a nice Rastafari seminar took place. To me, it was more a, you know, a seminar we just accustomed to, was a nice bingy gathering where reasoning and all in different communities would have taken place. I remember in one community center, Ras Bonages draw him two-edged sword for reggae music, you know, and its practitioners, you know. And I saw that many youths with locks were offended. You could have seen the face, the reaction. And when we get a time for reason, off air, one of the brethren said to I and I, Rasta man, we heard the elder, you know, and the elder was opposed to reggae, you know. But let me tell you this, we did not hear of Nyahbinghi, you know. In our first inception of this Livity, it's through the reggae music we learn a whole heap of things. So reggae played a pivotal role in I and I uprising. So you see, my as a younger brethren, I am telling the Iris I, reggae played an integral part in bringing I and I up to this level. The elder would not have seen so many I and I if it was not for reggae music. So you must show some regard to reggae that went before through the different mediums. You know, we are the products of reggae music. I'm gonna say, yeah, I agree, my brethren. I myself too, before you meet an elder, you would have listened to some conscious reggae music, you know, that spark a message of Rastafari. So I share the idea and I will pass it on to the elder. Being such a good younger brethren to Bonages, I wasn't afraid to sit with him and say, oh no, you know, this came up first night based upon the fire you put on reggae. And I explained it to Bonages. And you know, the elder smiled and decided to temper that kind of judgment. And to me, I show have great humility, you know. He went to another gathering and I hear him, you know, he made a nice clarity, you know, as to say, if you get the message through the reggae music, you know, it don't end there.
Yes.
It brings you to a certain level, is the I know to seek the higher calling, which is the divine trad of the Nyahbinghi, where certain things you not do because reggae come with alcohol, it come with flesh yamming, and the elder would have said come with whoredom and all. So he was no clarity as to the higher calling of spirituality that the Nyahbinghi would have offered, you know. So Bingy time now, it was November, and you know, it's coronation, so all the little reason and the community center and the different villages we visited and in the towns and all, it was Nyahbinghi time.
Okay.
So we were at Tabernacle. And I remember one Sunday, our reasoning went on. So when I observed, I saw that the Tabernacle didn't have any sisters. I saw the sisters on the eve of the Tabernacle going around the circle. Okay. And sparked something in my iris to say, why is this? Why am I not seeing the sisters, even with babies, sitting inside the Tabernacle? So I called Bongo Time from his position at the altar. I said, Bongo Time, look around. why no sisters are in the tabernacle, why the sisters, even the little rain that is now doing, the sisters are huddling up under the eave of the straw tabernacle, the thatch roof. And Bongo Time said, yes, I observe. I said, here we have to do Bongo Time. Let's go back and invite the sisters to come and sit and ask the hygienists them to get up, give the mothers, the sisters, the seats, and when all the seats are filled, then the brethren can take the remaining seats. And Bongo Time just accept the calling and made sure it happened. And the sisters, we had a nice reasoning that went up into chanting, and the next day, I'm not sure if it was Sister Sheba. I can't remember, only she could have told me, and I should have asked her. A sister came up to I and gave thanks for what happened the night before. They felt so joyed. And Bongo Time said, what happened now? This is a Bongo Time. So when I invited I to sit in the tabernacle in the reasoning, that was an opportunity we did not have. So we could give thanks for the inviting I to the tabernacle. And we said, wow. I took note of it. And I remember each morning we get up, we had if you're around Bonagees, when you get up, the first thing is a prophetic prayer and biblical teachings and all. So each morning, even while I was at rest, we hear him and the other hygienists on the main room having prophetic knowledge and reasoning. So in those sessions, we heard the different reports from different regions. I can remember one hygiene representing St. Vincent's Aya. I need to find out about the fire key, because you see when I had the ISIS and we lit that first fire key, we got the knowledge that that fire should not be put out. So when the ISIS seal up after the 7 days, it's like we add one's commission now to the fire duty to keep the fire burning. And it's like what I said, yes, as Makwasi, it's your turn, be strong, Next time them say, Bingy Glen, you're strongest to keep the fire blazing. So it went in turn. One hygiene said, beloved, we carry logs until we shoulders sore. Anywhere the logs were, we find them to keep that fire burning. We kept that fire burning till we couldn't bear the burden of carrying the timber, till we got access to one of those trolleys that they use in the forestry department where you draw the logs on. Okay. We had one of them carry timber out of the forest. Beloved, we kept that fire burning till we nearly destroyed an entire government forest. Wow. Just trying to keep that fire ablaze. And I was observing that deeply and said, wow, no, brethren, this is misconception. This is a man getting a message and multiply it. Yes. When he brought the message, once took it on as the real thing to do. Yes. And was with all the firmness and resolve that they are doing the right thing, keeping that Nyahbinghi fire burning. Yeah. So in the after, Simon took note of that and said, no, this is misinformation promulgated by who brought the message. Yes. Another brethren went on to say that, you see, bar down here, this is a question I need to ask, because we heard that to be a Nyahbinghi fire, man, you have to eat a lot of ipa, Hot. So you see, when I was dubbing, when I was cooking I ital, it's like you had a dozen red ipa, a dozen gold, and a dozen green, Hot. You see, when you take a taste of that sip, man, I tell you, you have to just be strong. You can't make a man feel like you're weak, not being able to absorb all that pepper, because being the fire, man, if you can't take a few iPod. And Brethren would tell my brother Ibo before I even went back here to say, apart from the hot fire sip, because Ikel family, that's Dr. Ikel Tafari, his family had a pick-up pepper factory, and he got the hot pepper sauce, and then man would add that pepper sauce to that dozens of ipa sip already, because he's a real fireman, someone wanting to prove who's a real fireman.
Okay.
So my brethren said, this is when I went to the bathroom. Man, it was fire in the ass, man.
I can only imagine.
Oh, so Iman said, wow, this is really misinformation, and these younger angels not having expert knowledge felt that it was a right thing to do because you want to adhere to the principles laid down by the ancients.
Yes.
If it's good enough for Moses, it's good enough for I. If it's good enough for Bona Jesus, if it's good enough for Bongatan, then it's good enough for I. Someone's doing it out of the willingness of wanting to observe the principles and tenets of the Nyahbinghi Order.
History.
So I look at these things and say, no man, but these things are right. The daughters left out. We know in John Rock, the sisters were left out of the reasoning. I remember one time I invited Empress Baby Eyes' sister, not naming her, but I say, let us hear from our sister. Now, we need to hear from our sister. What is their view on this subject? And I see she made a move that I realized that she looked like, I said, Dr. Nelly, you look like you want to address the topic. And she got up and she was so nervous. She said, beloved, this is the first time I was invited to say something in the tabernacle, in a reasoning, and I am treading this trad from Bakawal. So when you hear the name Bakawal called, you know, she's treading the foundations of Nyahbinghi were laid. And this is the first time. And I said, wow. But the trad in St. Lucia, Ayanola now, was the eye-opener to see where discrepancies were in the order and the messaging were misinterpreted or brought wrongly. So as a young brethren who just take on the task, when I see a letter is written to the Prime Minister and the letter never sound scholarly written or sound, you know, good enough to represent us to the Prime Minister, I would take my time and write a letter and say, beloved, I want the item, listen to this letter. And I remember Bongo Tani say, yes, youth, nice, this sound like it. Write the letter, no man, put it together. And tell the item that earned me the scorn of a particular elder who wrote the first letter. You know, because Bongo Tani endorsed the letter I wrote, and that letter took precedence over his letter. And is on getting that first mandate from Bongo Tani, I listened to reasoning and start record minutes of meetings, because the next year, elder, I wonder, I never said so, man. So when I brought clarity from a minutes I wrote, I still heard this day from another elder who never want another elder heard what he said last week when he was not there. So I said, why may I get myself in trouble by using this pen to write?
History.
But when returning from St. Lucia in 1986, I had one resolve, and that was we must put an end to messages of the Nyahbinghi Order carried out, and once add to it, once multiply it, once take away from it. So we see all kind of mathematical symbols to the message. You know, man add, man take away, man multiply, man divide, and misinformation spread all over. So my viewpoint was we need to put a document together that speaks to the traditions of the Nyahbinghi Order. And by extension, not what is interpreted by an individual elder, but by a collective. Because sometimes individual elder talk some things, you know, and if you allow it to be the mandate, you know, we do some wrong things. There was one elder who said,
stick up in 1 second. I want everyone to realize that the reasoning that we're having now can only be had by this elder here. This was the brethren telling his story. I want us to understand the importance of the history that we're hearing. as a Nyahbinghi family. And this is one of the reasons why I started this platform, so that the lion could tell his own story. And he went out of Jamaica as a Nyahbinghi youth, have certain education, and we still have to have the eye on to hear the eye story, because Ras Iva and his brothers were historic in terms of their battle with the school system, a lot of history. And this guideline that we're going to talk about tonight, as I say, the brethren very humble, but it's really through his work that this guideline was created. And as I said, as a young Howard University student going to the Bingi House, these were the documents that I fed on, that we had structure, that we could go home and study what the fire key, memorize the Psalms, come forward, and you're glad to block a Psalms in the eyes, as you feel like you have accomplished something now because you're memorized it. You know what I mean? So structure is very important, because other than that, man, just do what them feel like, and we see the breakdown. So a lot of people lick out against the structure, and I want you to talk about some of the fight, but I know you're getting there. But I just wanted to put some context to what they are saying. But continue. This is great history.
Well said, the Jasmine. But still, I think it's some clarity, because as a student of an institution which was a high school, it's necessary we break the barriers and decided that Rastafari is the way. No more will we keep what we have inside. You do have to dread to be Rasta. We never allow that to be the way we see things, even before those music became, part of the music. We realized that being ballad, we were saying Haile Selassie at school, we were doing everything Rastafari. We were going across the fence, go burn chalice early in the morning and come back to school. And I do schoolwork. Lunchtime, we gone over the fence again by another elder. Gonna eat ital food, because we not eat flesh at school. And we come back with eyes like flames of fire. Until we decided, no. The prophet said, behold, I come quickly with my reward. So we say, yo, it's time we start, put on the crown of glory now, and start holding natty. So, to give clarity, because many ones would have said, so you did go UWI. I said, no, my university was the Nyahbinghi Order. Once I left school, high school, at the brink of doing my GCE exams, find that, parents, family, mom sick in a UK, father never carried the weight, never have the finances to do that final year exam. I said, yeah, flee to the hills. Because then we did look at, say, coming out of school, wanting a job, them no want no baby, them no want no natty Congo. Why should I prepare myself to be employed? I go to hills, become a farmer. And I from there. So I post high school, find I in the hills. And it's this we teach the knowledge to youths. You bring up a nice identity of youths now. You earn the scorn of your parents, because you have turned them dad and Rasta, you have turned them other boys into Rastafari. What as I was saying now concerning elder,
Yes, and get forward to the guideline.
Your own concept. You have a set of youth, stay a certain way, do certain things a certain way, because he came up under that particular elder. So if that elder they burn Bible, you have a set of man around there so they burn the Bible. And if he's a man of prophecy and you come up under feeling wings, you're a Bible student. So I realize that.
Yeah, hold on here. 1 second. Stick a pin. What's that sound?
Don't have a mind of my own. I don't recognize through Haile Selassie the first that the Bible is a guide. So yes, we stick to the Bible. And then we were among elders now who love the Bible. And we still did see elders were not into it. Yeah. So I know within the tribe realize that you have some elders where when they talk about the Rasta woman, he said, no, you can't have no Rasta woman. There's no Rasta woman. You have a Rasta man woman. And we are trying to come up with elder mean. It's like, woman can't be Rasta. So we
We're
come up
hearing
under
stick up
lot
in,
of
stick up in, stick up in. We're hearing a sound.
Even
We're hearing a
this
sound
year.
in the background there,
So
Ras Ivan.
St. Lucia now open up the Irish to say we have to put a document together. I remember it was our first Sunday reasoning at Scott's Pass. Then
we know here it
the 86 we came back 86. So we're down in 87 coming up. I decided that Norman, I have to present this now to the meeting to say, in a report coming from St. Lucia, I said a lot of discrepancies are out there within the order. So what I'll do is say to the item, it's important that we put a document together that speaks to Nyahbinghi.
Yes.
We have to have something that when it go out there, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Barbados, England, Canada, globally where you have Nyahbinghi, we must sing the same song, we must have the same tenets, we must adhere to the same teachings. Because we can, as the fire, can go out after the bingy. And it's under that you don't wet it up or out it, you leave it, make nature, it goes out with nature. If rain come and put it out after the bingy, fine. You know, the sisters now have to play a role. Fine. You know, ital Livity, we have to endorse it. Because there was a time when you have some elders go around and find other man a cook flesh from bingy and kick off the pot, you know.
Yeah.
These were the young brethren. Then you have all Iron Lion and Prince Iron and all other lions out there were young Italists in eldership, but them man, they're Italists. Jaja was one of them. The man will kick off your flesh pot. You say, oh, you know, and we are watching them and say, no, we need to come to a clarity as to what is and what should not be, and ones are there to it. So after getting knowledge of the Fatanagas, the Kebranagas, and I must call an elder name by the name of Kojo. Yes. You hear Black sing say a long time Nyahbinghi Kojo is calling on the youths. Same time like us live as one. Kojo was a student of His Majesty and a lover of the chalice, the man the bun chalice round the clock. But he was an ardent reader, selected speeches. The Fatanagas, the Kebranagas, this man opened the no, I love books. So Kojo would just come and say, I see that one, I want you look on that one. The Fatanagas, the Kebranagas. When I read the Kebranagas concerning the altar of the tabernacle, concerning Our Lady of Zion, concerning, I said, wow, this is a nice book. So when the guidelines time come, I say, you know, the guidelines could be written in a similar manner. So I took what I saw in the Kebranagas concerning the fire key. Because that was one topic in confusion. Concerning the fire key, you know, concerning the inner altar of the tabernacle, concerning the fire altar of the tabernacle. Them days we don't name it the mercy fire yet, but we know that was the inner fire key, fire altar, and the judgment fire is outside. Concerning the altar of the tabernacle, so that was how I took those wording from the Fatanagas. So when from the Kebranagas. So when I presented it to the reasoning for the first time, telling one, say we need a book of rules, we need a guideline that will make ones aware what to do in Nyahbinghi and what ought not to be done. So we have a oneness where Nyahbinghi is concerned. I remember my beloved patriarch stamp him rather and say, well, we don't have a guideline already. The guideline is the Bible. And when my beloved elder said that, I said to him, say, but my beloved elder, the guideline I'm referring to, it will tell me how the days of the Nyahbinghi go. It will tell me what is to be done in a Nyahbinghi center. It will tell me concerning the fire key. It will tell me concerning the altar. It will concerning the Nyahbinghi man, the Nyahbinghi woman. It is establishing a order within a priesthood order. So we need to have something written by I and I, because the Bible would not tell the brethren them say, them shouldn't have the fire lighted all along. So we have to accept this thing now. You know, the Bible wouldn't clarify to the man them say them should not eat too much pepper. Them get it out of bingy.com. So we need to put something together where one can have as a guide to their future actions within the Nyahbinghi Order. So my beloved Bona G's now overstand the position I came from. And I said, well, I just want to ask some questions, you know, concerning certain topics that I think we must discuss, and one can come up with, you know, whatever topic one seen should be addressed in this guideline. So one of the questions was, should a Nyahbinghi priest have a queen? It was laughter. One's laugh. And you know, we have Bongo Daniel, one of the elder, can't forget him, look for Bongo Time. I said, no. And Bongo Time look for him. There's a trouble around Bongo Time, him being the high priest at the time. Said, no, man, fear time. So Rastafari G's now answered, and I was so glad to hear him answer, because now, yes, he's participating in the process.
Yes.
And Bona G said, remember, you know, remember when Solomon's son visit Solomon, you know, at the temple in Jerusalem, you know. Remember when he was going away, you know. When he was going back to Jerusalem, Solomon said, well, if my firstborn son is going back to Ethiopia, then all the priests will have to send their eldest son with my son to Ethiopia. So Bona G said, so my question is, if these priests did not have a queen, where them get a firstborn son from? And we all smiled. And I say, yes, Bona G, yes, Bongo Wato. That's a nice presentation. It cannot go. We need not go any further with this. Yes. And Nyahbinghi priests have the right to have his Nyahbinghi queen. So Bongo Water now start define the traits of a woman so worthy to be a queen beside the king, beside the priest.
Okay.
So you know,
one second there, Ras Ivi. I want to check and see if we have Priest Isaiah. Is Priest Isaiah ready? Jacolia? Not here in the eye.
No, he's still unavailable, unfortunately.
All right. Just when he's ready, just give me a thumbs up so I know, okay?
Yes. But I can fill in for him. It's no problem, you know. It's no problem. Yeah, I can feel free to ask questions also. I did sit
all right. He's responsible. Him send the fruit of him lines to come and represent him. So we give thanks. I'm gonna come forward to the eye shortly as well, Bingy Glenn. But I think this history for those watching is very vital, very detailed, and again, Ras Ivi is the perfect person to tell this history because he was the principal driver of the history within the Nyahbinghi house for these guidelines, and a lot of youths again around the world. And we're gonna have honorable priest, and I will fill in for him about the global spread of the Nyahbinghi and you know what having that structure meant, what was happening before it came, and these things. So we're having the reasoning. We may go a little over time. We also have the IDOR study group tonight. But we may go a little over the 7 o'clock time span. But this is a vital reasoning because ultimately we want to discuss how do we preserve the ancient order for the next generation, you know? And this is all of our Rastafari traditions are going through the same challenge in terms of how do we preserve the original Pan-African root of the movement, that it's not watered down, commercialized, and it don't resemble that power that spread it global. So Ras Ivi, just seal up the reasoning
Yes.
on
Yeah.
the thing, and then we'll rotate it around.
You know, the mate told the singer song, we say, whoa, it's a long story. It's really a long story to be told. It's a part of the history that should be told, and give thanks to the medium, the jazz man. So as we say, at Scott's Pass, at these first and church Sunday reasoning, when we go to Bingi, we have put the thing together. We noticed that there was a group of sisters with Sister Ina, Bubbles, Daphne, Baby I, and all of them. They had what you call the King Alpha and Queen Omega Theocracy daughters. So the daughters already did form themselves in a group that they would always come together and do things together. So the guidelines don't talk about a sisters council and a youth council, and also that guideline now was seen now as a document now that when we got to the next Bingi, I would have read from my handwritten work about the guidelines for the next community who had never heard about the guideline. 1989, there was a Bingi out in St. Thomas, spearheaded by our beloved Virgin Bongo Kasha. And Bongo Kasha hosted that Bingi. That was the first Nyahbinghi fire where the 7 Psalms were recited. Then, in that document that was published in 1993, because the book was written up, it was left to only for editing and additions as we go by and read and forget ones to give their own viewpoint. But 1989 July was the first time the fire was already lit, because anywhere the Bingi are there, you have a fireman Bongo Eddie, once him gone, and he was a tabernacle maker too.
Yes,
he would go to that tabernacle, but the fire have to light. Once him got there, the fire have to be lit. So when the gathering meet on that first day of the Bingi, which has always been the 23rd, the 2nd of November, wasn't the day before, it was always on the day. So the evening now, night coming now, we say, well, now that we have the guideline, we agree, because sometimes now is myself and Bola Jesus and Bongo Time and other elders with an order, and we say, all right, so we're going to go out and recite these 7 prophecies. So we would go out, converge at the fire key in a circle, and I can remember the first consecrated fire I saw happening since my entry into Bingi in 74 was 1989. That's the first time I had ever witnessed 7 prayers, 7 psalms were read according to the guideline around that fire key. So from then, certain aspects of the guidelines were being followed and adhered to, and it reached up, and we have to fast forward too, because it reached up to 2008 when we find out the global spread now. Ras is all over the place now. The Nyahbinghi called one of these gatherings again, and within that gathering we decide that we're going to look at certain tenets of the guideline, and some things need to be added, some things need to be clarified more clearer than the language it was in. I take it that I was the architect of the wording of that first guideline to be corrected by ones who had that academic knowledge. It could have helped strengthen him up too. And but I took credit for spearheaded and things. But 2008 we called a broader collective of ones to come now to Scott's Pass, and we had a conference inside the Tabernacle. Okay. And there was where we start look at more edits to the guideline in 2008. And we did that, and it was approved by the ancients of that time in 2008. We had lost Ras Bordages then, we had lost Bongo time then. Yeah. 2008, yeah, we had lost the Bonages went in 2000 time, in 2001. Yeah. So we continued and we approved the guidelines. We sent it out for ratification. I think one were slow in responding, but the elders had approved it, but there was not a printer, so some regions had it printed and all. And in some regions, someone had problem even with the original guideline, because when I was in the UK I brought that book with I. For some reason, I brought my hardcover book with all the notes from the guideline, you know, and to share some part of it with the Bingy house there. And then when I found a sister willing to have this thing typed up, she worked then with British Telecom. She's now in Gambia. Sister Sharon, if you're listening, watching, that sister, Sharon Mitchell, she volunteered to use her time working for a company to type up the Nyahbinghi guidelines on behalf of the host, you know, on behalf of I asking her to do so, you know, give thanks to the host, to Sister Jessie Ras Culture. And while the sister would have bring back, I would have looked, edit, boom, to correct. And then when the guideline was near completion, Sister Ras I, you know, we all need to know the chant. Sometimes we chant some chant and we don't know the words. And you know, I sat down with my Empress and we put that 100 chant together, and that sister did all of that, and we end up now with a book of the guidelines and a booklet of 100 chants. Then I know had the audacity to go put compiled by Ras Tafari for the Nyahbinghi Council of Elders. It seems as if my name should never be attached to it. Because then some person who don't like a Ras never like the guidelines either. And you hear opposition to it because a Ras guideline. Up to today you have some man. It's Ras guideline. Oh, it was Ras guideline. Ras you have done a magnificent work on behalf of the Rastafari community. But I took no personal credit. I just say I came up with the idea of putting that guideline together. I never just sit down about it. I put pen to paper, ask the questions, get the confirmation, got it typed, and I remember in '93, the 101 Earth Day of His Majesty, we were in Tottenham, England for Nyahbinghi for the 101. You know, we just fresh from Ethiopia for the centenary, went back to England, we had the 101. And while we were there, I said to the brethren, you know, we need to give His Majesty a nice Earth Day present. What do you think we can give to him? And everyone was kind of silent, wondering what we can give the king. And we said, we sure no want no money. Sure no want that. Sure no. I think the best thing we can give him is some ices, you know. And I think 100 chants would be perfect. 101 chants would be perfect for his 101 Earth Day. And I can say, the first time 101 different chants were chanted in any Nyahbinghi space, if it happened after, one would have to get me up to speed. One breaking said, oh, we have to do that. Oh, we'll chant 101 different chants. We say, here in this box, we have copies of 100 chants. So we are going to just add one to it, which is the anthem, and we're going to chant 101 chants tonight. Are we committed to do this for the 101 Earth Day of His Majesty? And all said yes. It's all right, we're going to order because we do have enough for everyone. So 3, 4 ones can be together to look at the chants. We don't know. And we did that. The guidelines then were handed out to different ones. One some brethren said, no, man, you can't give them thing. You have to say, make every man give £10 and you bring it back to the bingy. I said, no. Freely, if there's something at the back said not to, at the front and back said not to be sold, if you're gratified in the receipt of one of these documents, send the contribution to the Pitchford Nyahbinghi Center. I will not collect on behalf. And you know, for those guidelines, I received some leaks too to say that I was selling these things and things, but those are trivialities now, because then after 2008, we look at the growth of the movement, so much discrepancy, and I say to my beloved brethren in UK just last Tron Global, that while I was in UK in 92, 93, going up, I saw an ad in the Voice newspaper of a 19-year-old Rastafarian seeking, I am a 19-year-old male Rastafarian seeking male partnership, seeking another male friend for homosexual relationship. That said to me, he said, no, the guideline now needs to take another step, because back then we would not mention homosexual behavior in Rastafari. But look at it now. Here is a youth misconceiving what the tenets of Rastafari is all about. Say him a seek a man relation. And at the same time, feeling can be a Rasta. So in the 2008, I said, we need to add some things to this to make man know. So listen, Rasta not bend up them way there, you know. Rasta have a pure, clean liberty, and homosexuality is not a part of it. You know, that went through the fire too, because there were still ones on the ground say, you know, what a man doing his personal bedroom. I was like, we ain't going there. That cannot happen. Rastafari. You know, so we have to be firm or resolved that this knowledge is out there. Perchance ones in the order of the today's world feel like it's a right. So when we started now Transglobal, you know, Bingley can give the history. It's true that this medium now we say, but we have a broad collective of Nyahbinghi priests on this platform. And because of the many discrepancies, we stamp and seal down there, so this happen around there, so that happen around there, so misinterpretation of the liberty. We need now to add some more important keynotes. The final rights need to be addressed. Marriage need to be addressed. Yeah, I see there's so many things left out. Penalties when certain things happen that is wrong. We need to address these things. So from a collective standpoint with the different countries, which will give a more, you know, broader perspective. Actually, there are more countries that were engaged now in this new revision of the guidelines. We did our best. Uno come on board, can't say them wasn't offered the opportunity to come on board, you know, cross Africa, cross Europe, cross South America, cross the Caribbean islands. Everyone got an opportunity. If you didn't come, too sad that you didn't come. But I can say of all the three versions of the guideline, this one had the broadest collective participation and wise mind of ones with the knowledge of the order and the proper know-how in terms of sentence structure and everything. I think we did a good job. We've been inviting the attorneys, the Jasma Kwasi, the Jasma Giagis to come on board to listening. And I'm saying across Africa, across the Caribbean, across North and South America, we had Nyahbinghi exponents putting their touch into the guideline. And where it is at right now, the Jasmark, in closing, if we all can adhere to at least 70% of the tenets laid down for a Nyahbinghi man and woman, would be on the tip of the pyramid, the highest point of the pyramid in terms of the glorification and liberty of Rastafari that will make us worthy to be called sons and daughters of Kadamari, Haile Selassie I and Empress Nadine. So there is where it's at. That's how it all began. And I say, he that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I know I'm an utter. On this medium, Satan did not try to fight it, that we all start late, but give thanks is good over evil. I know these words are true, and Kadamari, Haile Selassie I, bear witness. Give thanks.
And the item notice globally, we never panic because we know that victory must prevail, and see the clear, the history laid out very clear, so it's there. A little youth in Zambia now can go on his internet and hear from the brethren who was responsible for the guideline, and you gave such a critical explanation of why the guideline is important. Because if there's no guideline, because there are some Nyahbinghi people that feel like it's a free trad, burn out the guideline, what is all of this structure? Because I've heard it, a lot of people fight against the, you know, because some people say it's a churchical order. And a lot of people burn out that and said that is where the order went wrong. You know, I've heard people criticize Bongo Watu for bringing it into a more churchical. They like the more militant kind of vibration, and you know what I mean. But what we overstand is that without an agreed upon standard, if you just leave it to a man, all kind of thing creeping, there's no clarity. You know, as an attorney, we know that the importance of law and His Majesty as a lawgiver in real life, you know what I mean, come with an establishment of law in Ethiopia. So the example, is clear. So we're gonna go to the Ibingi Glen to talk about what is in the guideline, what was revised, and some of the key um, additions so that the people can be aware of the type of thinking. And just to be transparent, as Ras Ivi said, I was there at the inception. I haven't been there through the whole process. So much works the item know already. But yes, in the early days, we did give some attributions. And it's a worthy effort, something as simple as marriage. How does that look like? You want to get married and Haile Selassie name call. You can't go to the Orthodox for that. You know what I mean? You can't go, and every man have a right, to his union in his own way, or to provide that option for a brethren when a man pass away. So we're gonna talk about the order, the guideline, and some of the updates. Bingy Glenn.
Yes, the Jasmash. How much time we have working with Rasta?
Can you do it in 20 minutes?
I'll do my best.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
overtime. We're gonna go overtime anyway, but just we
Okay.
try to keep it within an
Yeah.
hour. Yeah.
Yes. I have to apologize for Ras Isaiah, who was supposed to really emphasize the importance of the guidelines, but I just want to say a few words on that. Um, and unfortunately, there is a lot of disorder taking place when we're supposed to actually be an order. See? And we have a lot of ones who have a problem with the guidelines or fight against the guidelines. Many of them want to do their own thing and live them life in whatever way they choose to live it and ignore what was set down from the ancients of days. See? And this thing causes disunity. It causes I and I to drift apart, families to go to their own corner and sit down. See? And we cannot have unity like that. There's two things His Majesty emphasized now. One is education, and the other one is unity. You see my deal with. And I and I, as Nyahbinghi people, are of like minds. Okay, I and I have come together, listen to the things that the elders have given us originally, and say, yeah, this is good. We identify with this. My family and all the families who identify with it consider themselves Nyahbinghi and try to live within that order. Okay. But the thing is not as tight as it should be. I and I have people who tend to want to do things their own way. So right now, in almost every area upon creation, where there's a Nyahbinghi house, and trust me, they're all over the earth, we find different individuals interpreting things their own way. The Nyahbinghi houses are so open that somebody can come out of the street and come into Nyahbinghi and start talking and have opportunity to talk and to approach our elders, you understand me, and to institute all sort of things and make all kind of suggestions and so forth. See, too loose. See? On top of that, now we find that what has been set down in the guidelines prior to this particular revisions is that it never touched on most of our secular lifestyle. See? And not only that, even it was a good job touching on things that we the way we live and the things that the way we apply to our life. But I just want to move on now and address things that are new to the guidelines that this is not no new guidelines, Rasta. We don't want to walk how we're saying this is a new guidelines. The same guidelines. And the best way to really get the most out of what is in here is to get the original guidelines and put it side by side and view it, make comparisons. Okay? And then we out now. Leave. Yeah, so this is an opportunity for I and I to know. This is up to I and I to know. Look at it and get an idea. A lot of ones never even open the guidelines yet to look at it. I suggest that we all print it off, and especially for the elders of our community, print off a couple copies. A couple of ones already have volunteered to do that, and I've been doing that, printing it off and making it available, so that now it is important that we start to open it up now and take a look, and not make people turn us off and say guidelines this and guidelines that. I'm on one show the item, seeing after the introduction of the guidelines, coming down, Article 1 talk about the format for Nyahbinghi official ceremonies. And I spent 3 years going over all of these guidelines, seeing this the widest set of ones to ever address the guidelines. Seeing the first guidelines that was put out through Jamaica, it was just the ancients within Jamaica. You understand me? The second attempt more reflected the global representation, but there was not a follow through after that in the way, it's like there's a process that need to be followed to get to till you get to ratification. And I think that maybe I dropped the ball with that in that respect. So it's here within the guidelines, okay? We're looking at Article 1. Let me just read a little piece of it. It says, format for the Nyahbinghi ceremonies. All official ceremonies and ISIS must follow the following format. Section 1.1. Commencement time. Official ceremony and ISIS should start at dusk in the late afternoons. This make it more family friendly. See? And that is important because most of the time we handle bingy like, you go dance and we go dance, you go 11 o'clock at night and thing like that. See? That is not conducive to our children. We want our children to can able to can participate in a fire lighting, okay, and all the different activities. Taste some ices before them have to go sleep and them sort of things. So yes, this we acknowledge that and we all agreed. See, we all agreed. From every continent that participates, we have members participating in it, and this is what was agreed upon. Okay. Observance of fasting, section 1.2. It is advised that brethren and sisters strive to observe at least a 24-hour fast before the start of Nyahbinghi. Okay. This fast shall be restricted to water, fruits, and vegetables with no additives. Exceptions can be made for children, pregnant women, or nursing women, and elders who can't handle the fast. Okay? So these are things that was not mentioned in the previous guideline. Section 1.3, sexual abstinence. All sexual activities are strictly forbidden at least 3 days prior to Isla Day, to Nyahbinghi. It is mandatory that administering priests and firemen of the Nyahbinghi house maintain the fast for the entire number of prescribed days. See? And then it goes on to talk about the mercy fire. Okay? And it says specifically the mercy fire is lit during the chant.
Bingy Glenn, that one, the controversial.
Which one is that?
The sexual fast. I don't know. You're going to start running to some man where don't like you're getting in bedroom business. What was the thinking behind that? I think I know, but what, just explain, because that one I know is gonna have some dialogue around it.
Well, first of all, no one going into anybody's bedroom. See, it's up to a man to have that sort of discipline. Okay, sexual abstinence is part of a fast. Okay, which will help us to maintain our irons. See, we will come to Bingi, we just focus on ISIS, and we prepare to come to Bingi. See, this thing concerning abstinence as also applies to thing, for instance, the ones who are standing up as priests in the house. Okay. Who want to have the children sanctified by a brethren who just had sex the night before, or things along that lines. Okay. So we need to set it, and one's supposed to know the standard. So if you know, say, you have not been keeping that standard, then you step away and make somebody else step up. Okay. But it was agreed by everyone present that yes, fasting at least 3 days prior would be nice, would be full. See? And we like I said, we work on this for 3 years, and we asked once to weigh in. Once a lot of people
I think sexual discipline is an important principle.
Yeah.
And I just wanted the eye to just reason it out so that ones can understand the type of reasoning, but cause a lot of reasoning, a lot of work went into these updates to the guideline. And as the brethren said, Bingi houses from all around the world participated. It was a lengthy process. So I just want the ones them know what they are saying.
I need to know the amount of time I spent reaching.
No, I know. That's why I couldn't be there. That's why I couldn't be there.
So the ones who have a problem, they had a chance. They had a chance to have a say. You understand me? But when the majority of ones agree to that, beloved, what can we say? Rastafari, you wanted to add something?
Well, it's 52 weeks in a year, yeah? And it's only on a Sunday when we have Bingi, we don't have the reasoning and the guideline. So for the past 3 years, 52 weeks in a year, every Sunday, is a commitment to getting this work out of the way and going over and over and over to ensure the participation and ensure we have the thing correct. What I would like from the global community and even the naysayers, as Bingi Glenn said, take I don't know which one them prefer, if it's the original first draft of 19, it was published in 94, but 93, but call it was done from 87, then it published now in 94. It is that copy them I talk about, because I don't know what is in this that is troubling anyone. Because if you are up for the Livity of Rastafari and the Nyahbinghi Order, you must know, say, is a task. And I must say to the ones, when we were doing the first draft, when I asked the question if a Nyahbinghi Rastaman, priest of the order Rastaman, to have a woman per se is a Christian or a non-Rastafari, as in Queen. The elder who first responded said, yes, a Nyahbinghi Rastaman to have in Queen and she will be Rasta. And I turn around, I look at him and say, Bongo Vassal. And I said that, him say, yes, man. Why I said Bongo Vassal is that you? Is because Bongo Vassal's empress did not have locks. And Bongo Vassal was the man that said, yes, she must be Rastafari. And then he went on to say, not because I am a victim of that situation, I go and say, no, and to make another generation continue in this wrong. It's nice when two have the same theoretical connection and the physical together. So I'm saying to ones, there are tenets in it why someone we can't draw close to even living them enough. Yes. But don't fight it, because there might be another generation we are going to see it as right and hold on to it. And I think some of the man them who loosen at them ways are some who probably look on it and say, oh, And then money I do this thing and like as if we are set last man. A man can go and do anything he might want to do, you know. But you see, we're becoming Rastafari, we have to
Yeah.
make sure it's pure and clean. So we
And
are
and we can't
vanguard.
call, we can't
So
call it an order if there's no order, you know.
there is no order.
There have to
Exactly.
be a standard.
All
Of
right.
course.
So, you know, some of the feedback where I get right here, man, I say the guidelines don't set, and who are I and I to come, you know, come mess with that and whatever. I think the simplest thing for I to do is reflect on His Majesty, okay? Because He led us not by His words alone, but by His actions, His deeds, okay? And He gave us the first guidelines, revised it in was it 57, and then
55. 55.
55, sorry, and then later on revised it again. Now
in 1974.
in 74. Now think about it. He could have, you know, done it from the very beginning and put it and said this is how it's supposed to be. But he realized that Ethiopia was not ready and he had to do it in stages. So then he asked for say, work towards the goal where you can be ready to send representatives to come and serve in government. Okay? And so they worked towards it. But he has showed us by his example that yes, there's room for improvement. Now, like I said, in those early days, there was not no focus was really on secular activity. But when we look and see what's going on, we don't have no economic things set up. You understand me? Most of the Bingi house them really are not addressing things like marriage, you know, and what is expected, and as last I said, the importance of being evenly yoked. These things are very important, you know, and so we have to make sure say we set the goal, we set standards, and we strive towards them. You understand me? We set standards where we know say as a Rasta man, you can hold yourself accountable. Okay, and if you know reach upon the level that you continue to strive. Okay, you continue to strive to achieve that and get to that level. Okay, so like I said, don't be scared. Set the conditions, set those standards, and strive towards them. Okay, and nobody not in your bedroom or looking at what you're doing or whatever. We just set it so that the next generation can come and see it and live up. And those who had it in their mind to make changes can say, yeah, you know what? Now is the time to make changes. And you realize say, you don't have to sit around and tolerate man step up and because them eloquent and educated or know the Bible, that them can stand up and say what they want and then go around the corner and do all kind of things and adapt all kind of diverse doctrines and ways of livity that we know is not an example that His Majesty set for I and I. Okay? So you have something that you can be in your Bingi house and you say a man and you know say Ima do certain things. And you say to yourself, say, no, you can't say you are the priest for the house and you're doing certain things. Hey, who are you? And you say, all right, so the guidelines here, and you open it up and a man can read the guidelines and see, hold him accountable. So now him not no choice. Him have to go leave the congregation and go somewhere else with him thing. Say, start him own thing and give it a different name too. You know, if you come in, everybody want come claim them a Nyahbinghi and this and that. No. Let us set our goals and objectives and let us live up to it. See? As we go along further down, it talk about the different symbols of the order. It talk about the order you know, when you start the Bingi light in the fire, you know, how you go about it, what psalms are chanted. Okay. It goes on to address like playing the harps, who can play it and who can't play it. Okay. It goes into a whole lot more detail and uniformity than what was there before. It's an upgrade, Rasta, so to speak. It's not a new guidelines. It's an upgrade. I appeal to the item. Just open it up Okay? Print copies if you can. And like I said, get the original that was first put together in 87 and compare it. Just make the comparison and say, make seriously, be honestly say, isn't this an
Yeah,
improvement?
yeah,
You understand me? Isn't this an improvement? And if you have a problem, let us know what the problem is. See? Let us know. I um went on down our outline marriage. We talk about the amount of time for courtship. We talk about
Can you read a little bit of the marriage section? Because I want to show people them the kind of thought that went into this revision of the guideline. And yeah, courtship is important, you know. I have a
just
show. Yes,
there was a question that came up, where we were trying to get a balanced answer around the circle. How long should the Jasmine Kwasi knows is empress to be before him come to the house say want marry? Give me a time. How much years should that be? So that question was a question just to get it for a level,
all right.
And you have the different timing, So
Read
Yes,
it out. Read it out.
concerning marriage of the Nyahbinghi man and woman. Marriage is a holy covenant, not only between the two individuals, but also with the Most High, Haile Selassie I. In the Rastafari Livity, love is the first commandment, a divine alignment guided by truth, respect, and righteousness. Is not merely a social contract, but a spiritual union sealed in the presence of the Almighty. As practiced within the Livity, couples are joined based on their spiritual connections, and the foundation of their union is affirmed through the scripture. Therefore shall a man leave his mother and father, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Genesis 2, verse 24. This verse affirms the sacred act of a man coming unto a woman and making her his wife, not through ceremony alone, but through undying love and commitment for each other. The couples who recognize the value of legal marriage is sanctioned by the law of the land are strongly encouraged to pursue it. This adds a layer of protection and recognition and accountability to the union, especially in the matters of inheritance, children, and communal standings communal standings. With this added dimension, premarital counseling becomes a necessity. It is a sacred process that ensures the couple approaches their union with clarity, unity, and divine intentions, not driven by emotions alone, but by shared vision and spiritual maturity. A couple, male and female, who wish to be married in the Nyahbinghi Churchical Order must consult with selected elders as well as the priest officiating the ceremony. If the Nyahbinghi priest lacks the legal qualifications to perform the ceremony, he must liaise with and work with an authorized marriage officer. Section 6.2, criteria for marriage and counseling period. Now, being couples who are wishing to legally marry should be educated of the legal implications of such a union. Section 6.3, courting period. The Nyahbinghi couple must be in a committed relationship for no less than 2 years before entering the marriage covenant. And I can tell them I love it. It's not being Glenn decide that. It it went around the whole gathering. You understand? And everyone had their say. And in the final analysis, the majority of one said it should be 2 years before entering the marriage covenant.
Wow, that's a long time though. That's a long time.
2 years.
I overstand. This is Jocolia. Hold on, let me hear what Jocolia have to say as a young. You can't wait that long there. You can't wait that long to talk to it.
Well, I was present for the decision. Okay. It was actually over maybe 2 or 3 calls where this was discussed over the timeline, and a lot of ones did express I mean, I actually voiced my opinion to the fact like 2 years is a long time for younger people.
Yes.
And in 2 years, you could easily, have kids, start your life,
Yes.
So I think Ras Ivi had articulated that in specific situations, ones could be exempt, if the circumstances is that they really want to be married. But 2 years in reality in these times is a long time for younger people, but in reality is not a long time.
It's
two
not a
years
long
is
time. Yes.
definitely long enough to get to know someone well enough to know, especially if your family dynamic will work. I think that's a very important part of the journey,
Yes.
having family structures that work cohesively. So I think that was a major weighing on the decision, really, especially from the sistering's perspective that was on the call as well, setting up a
Yes.
constructive family structure.
It's very
All right,
important.
continued. All right, the period allows for deep emotional and spiritual understanding, observation of each other's livity, values, and family dynamics. And 3, time to resolve early conflicts and test compatibility through life seasons. So the reasons make sense.
Yes.
The reasons make sense.
And it's an ideal standard
Yeah.
that's being put forward.
And by if one can hold themselves to this, I guarantee that the marriage will have enough. It will stand for a very long time, if not forever. So this is just a way of ensuring that we have less problems where we need to call in the families and the couple rather and trying to solve the problem. Okay. Continued. Lead.
All of the elders have their children around them, I want them see the high example. Well, go on. All right, Bingy Glenn. Continue.
Yes, I. Continuing. Couples are expected to emulate the balance of His and Her Majesties, Haile Selassie and Her Majesty Empress Menen in union. It is the guiding light of all Rastafari unions, which all Rastafari aspire to achieve. It says, avoid practices that cloud the iris. Engage in daily prayer, reasoning, and meditation together. Live in alignment with the principles of Rastafari: truth, righteousness, love, and discipline. Preparation for marriage is not done in isolation. The house plays an active role in observing the couples. Commitment to communal service, participation in events, reasonings and house activities, demonstration of mutual respect, and spiritual growth as a unit. There's a premarital counseling requirement. Couples who had been in a committed relationships for 2 years or more must undergo 6 months of structured counseling before marriage. This is a sacred time of reflection, learning, and discernment. 6.9, withdrawal clause. Either party may withdraw from the premarital commitment at any point during the counseling period if they realize that they are not compatible. This is not failure, but wisdom. It goes on to talk about the counseling sessions, 2 per month over the entire period. Sessions are to be described and scheduled by the house. Online tools like video conferencing, secure messaging may be used for those living far away from the Tabernacle. Okay. If sessions are held online, the couple must attend in-person sessions during the final 2 months leading up to the ceremony. No sessions should be held during or right before the official ceremonies.
So Bingy Glen, the jazz mark, family globally. This is a disciplined approach to unions, you know. And I don't know, even if the younger, I don't really want to take so much time to go through. But you know, as a family man myself, I think this approach now will bring a greater sense of knowledge as to what are you entering to. It's not just say, why nice empress and boom, yeah, me know enough now and boom, we're married. I think probably this is why we have some broken marriages or broken unions within the order, you know, because we have couples have not taken
Yeah.
time to know. They never have a council session. There
Yeah.
are not much thing, and you know, it takes real discipline to really even go through this process that has been laid down right now in a Rasta. But I'm sure when one's listening, one's realize, yeah, this look like a very orderly, disciplined approach. These were not mentioned in the guidelines. Guidelines, yeah,
Yes.
speak of movements, but not in a way where we say, all right, now as a global movement, now we have to put the thing in order. We see His Majesty took on Her Majesty in 1911 and had a union, sacred union, inseparable by law. I see. So we know the importance of unions. We know the importance.
Yes.
So the guideline now would have to address it in a manner where it's structured in a way where, yeah, it's disciplined. You might find probably during the council session a month ago, we can't live up to them thing, because you know it never ready for it yet.
Yes, and in those counseling sessions, you could be teaching conflict resolution.
Exactly.
You know, things that help young couples to go through these hard times, because we don't have a good success rate across all of the mansions in terms of families, brethren, Christian, and the youth them together, and this is all around the world. So I applaud this effort, but one of the things I'm listening to is that this implies that you have thriving Nyahbinghi orders in these places that have the capacity to have a council, to have these things in place. So it shows us how important the structure is, and that all of the houses worldwide have a lot of work to do to get up to this standard now, where
Yes, sir.
we have this level of stability, because any culture that values itself has a courtship, has rules around courtship, marriage.
May I speak of that, the jazz
Yeah, man.
match?
Continue.
It speak about the counselor. It says criteria and role of the counselor. Character and reputation. The counselor must be a person of moral integrity and spiritual consciousness, known for humility, discretion, and wise guidance. Their livity should reflect the fruits of the Spirit. The counselor, male and female, should have 10 to 20 years of experience in a stable, loving relationship, serving as a living examples of commitment and mutual respect. So we definitely, looked at everything, beloved, not just what is expected of the couple, but also what is expected of the one who is supposed to be a counselor. Okay, restrictions. Rasta men and women who have engaged in serial monogamy, defined here as multiple short-term relationships, 5 years and under, are not eligible to serve as counselors. They do not qualify, as they lack the foundational experience of endurance and harmony through life seasons.
Right, that's how you start the war, you know. Right, that's how the war started up, because you cut out a whole heap of man. Right, that's how.
Yeah. Then it goes on to say training and qualifications. A counselor should hold formal training in counseling, preferably a diploma or social work qualification, where such is not. Where such is not available within the house, a qualified external counselor may be engaged. The counselor should submit a written report to the counseling team Any cost incurred as a result of engaging a counselor from the outside must be paid by the couple at a rate agreed upon by the parties. See? To
So in other
strengthen
words,
inter-
in other
eh,
words, we know it all, you know, because we
no.
might not be trained with the necessary skills of counseling. So if we know we not have it, we seek the one who knows about counseling from a well-learned standpoint and can come in. Yeah.
Yes, I. Goes on to say 6.14 says counselors must demonstrate unwavering confidentiality, discretion, and trustworthiness. The personal and spiritual matters shared during sessions are to be held in the strictest confidence as sacred trust before the Most High and the community. Breaking confidentialities through gossip, manipulation, or misuse of sensitive information will result in immediate review by the House councils. If any investigation, if an investigation confirms a breach of trust, the individual shall be removed from their position as counselor and barred from participating in future marriage counseling process. See? Um, Spiritual foundation, communication and conflict resolution, roles and responsibility, um, family integration, cultural and communal expectations. Okay. The actual marriage ceremony. On the designated day, the community and invited guests will gather at the chosen venue to witness and celebrate the union of the couple. Weddings held within the grounds must strictly adhere to its established rules and regulations. However, ceremonies may also take place at a suitable venue chosen by the wedding party. While these neutral grounds will be guided by the general rituals and, traditions of the Livity, they will not be bound entirely by the Nyahbinghi laws. Okay? Article 7 is concerning the sanctification of children. It says when there are children to be sanctified, the Nyahbinghi priesthood must be notified of the intention of the parents. Both parties will determine the date of the sanctification. Then an official announcement will be made by the to the assembly. After a period of 3 months of infancy for sons and 4 months for daughters, the Nyahbinghi sons and daughters are able to attend his or her first assembly to be offered up to the Most High, Haile Selassie I. The sanctification of the children should be held between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. The daytime attendants prioritize the well-being of the mother and child. The Jamadas and the Jafathers are chosen to help along with the upbringing of the children. The Nyahbinghi priests, as well as the congregation, offer prayers and chants for the eternal guidance of the children. If after a child is sanctified, the parents should cut the locks of the sanctified youth. They have then broken the oath of sanctification. The Council of Ancients who then investigate the matter to find out the reason for such violations. Rastafari sons and daughters must grow their children as who Rastafari sons and daughters must not grow their children as non-Rastafarians, as they will be held guilty of such wrongdoing. If after 18 years of age, when a child leaves the family home, he or she departs from the covenant, then that judgment does not rest upon the parent, but upon the child's shoulder. The Nyahbinghi administration should seek legal certification so that the document of such sanctification is deemed legal by the state. Then it goes through this actual ceremony, which I'm not going read that right now. Okay. Then we'll go on. It shows the administration of the Nyahbinghi Order. The hierarchy of the order is Haile Selassie first. At the top of the pyramid, the ancient council is second, and the priesthood is third, and the administrative council is fourth. The governance of the Nyahbinghi Order is divided into three branches. The three branches are guardianship, priesthood, and administration. The head of all three branches of the Theocracy Order of the Nyahbinghi is Haile Selassie I, who is the Almighty, the root and the foundation of I Livity, which started out as a movement. All three branches of governance shall lean upon the overstanding of his imperial majesty, knowing that his majesty is the omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent King of kings, Lord of lords, conquering land, the tribe of Judah. The root of David, who has prevailed. Revelation 5, verse 5. As it is further written in the books of prophecies, his name is called Wonderful Counselor, the Almighty Irator, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. He is the light of the world. Our best intentions, and then we have a utterance of His Majesty. Our best basic intention is to renew our country. Our purpose is to guide our people towards the advantages that modern day times can bring it. It is not to destroy the customs of our fathers that have come down to us from ancient times, traditions that have lasted for thousands of years. It will therefore be for you to act, that you strike a balance between the careful preservation of our land and these customs of our fathers, which is useful, and the advantages derived from modern modes of thought. See? Guardianship of the house, the branches of the house. Guardianship or custodial matters, responsible for all, the responsibility for, responsible for all providing protective supervision and guardianship, is patterned from the Crown Council of Ethiopia, 4 and 20 elders, which includes matriarchs and patriarchs of the order. The ancient council is the guardian of the order and are the second tier of the order. This arm is the governing body of the order, the chief guardian of the order. They are the guiding force of the order, whose primary roles are facilitated and setting up of new Nyahbinghi houses. This facilitation includes appointment and sanctioning of priests, spiritual guidance, advice, and assistance in making major decisions. Major decisions which will impact the house must be taken to the congregation for further deliberation and/or acceptance. It goes on and speaks about the priesthood and so forth. It goes on to the governance of the Nyahbinghi Order. The executive councils is listed here. There are some, it says the Council of Ancients, the priesthood, the administrative council. The administrative council is made up of chairperson and vice chair. Elect of treasury, 3 people. Elect of records, 3 people. The subcommittees shall be the welcome committee, the working committee, the ways and means committee, agriculture and economic empowerment committee, grievance committee, and repatriation committee. Then you have the sisters council, and then you have the youth council, and so forth. We have the portion concerning the priesthood, speaking about the junior priest. The junior priest is an entry-level Rastaman who is called to lead the house, must fit this criteria. For those who have not been born into the faith, but have been called by His Imperial Majesty, Imperial Selassie I, he must have at least 10 years of livity in the order and be no less than 30 years old. Those who are born into a Rastafari family must have at least 20 years of livity in the faith. The junior priest should have 5 years of training in the ways, practices, and responsibilities of the priesthood. This condition is to be revisited when the proper infrastructure and curriculum have been set up. He is expected to attend all Nyahbinghi Ises and ceremonies, except for extenuating and unforeseen circumstances. Pursuant to this completion of his training, the junior priest must spend 2 years in apprenticeship prior to being ordained as a priest of the house. See? Where it is possible, a trip to Jamaica, to the mother house in Jamaica is recommended. However, fulfilling the above criteria is sufficient. See? The ordained priest, in order to hold the office as a Nyahbinghi priest, the nominee who is a practicing priest must have at least 20 years of livity in the faith. He should spend 7 of these years specifically to training in the laws, principles, scriptures, ceremonies, and liturgy of the priesthood of the Nyahbinghi Order. He should possess a global outlook regarding the Nyahbinghi Order, and hold himself in the highest moral standing in all his doings. After 7 years, he qualifies to be an ordained priest, providing all other criteria have been fulfilled. The lead priest will be selected by the overall priesthood. The 7 priests will do the preliminary selections, then he will be endorsed by the council and the house. The lead priest is the representative of the priesthood. He will be the spokesperson for the priesthood and manage the delegation of the duties of the priesthood, including the signing of documents such as sanctification, marriage, and final rights certificates, as well as significant government documents such as the letters of injustice against Rastafari, and also major funding. The priest must be a member of the ancient council. He has to be certified by the appropriate government authorities to be able to perform legal rites and ceremonies. Saying 10.2 rather, the Nyahbinghi priest must be one of justice who carries out his works without partiality. He is looked upon for his wise decision and counseling. He must be vigilant, patient, given to hospitality and good behavior. He must not be covetous, greedy, dishonest, double-tongued, and a brawler. He must be able to rule his household, for this is the measure by which he shows that he is fit to take care of the house of his and her majesty. See? Again, he must be able to rule his household, for this is the measure by which he shows that he is fit to take care of the house of his and her majesties. He must maintain an eye to livity, make sure he does not defile his temple with abominable flesh, tobacco consumption, and alcohol consumption. The Nyahbinghi priest must have only one queen as set by the example of His Divine Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. The wife of the priest must be one of divine qualities, emulating Empress Menen within the Nyahbinghi Order, abiding of the laws of Jah. The priest must live an exemplary family life. See, and then it goes on to talk about the roles and responsibilities of the priests. Then it goes on to talk about the Council of Ancients. See? So, I would love the item to open this up and, read it, to meditate on it, reflect on it, and to encourage reasoning among brothers and sisters in whatever region you are, whatever bingy house you belong in. And I had set a goal for nativity for once. Well, we're having a lot of background noise. Yeah, for once to reflect upon it and to have open reason within the house, so that by March, which would be Battle of Ottawa and so forth, we would be in a position where we can start talking about the ratification of these guidelines. So I encourage ones and ones, please, to set up these reasoning amongst themselves. Some regions have already begun the process. Other regions have not. There are some elders who are not participating in the process because they are limited, whether it be they might have a small phone that they cannot view it properly and so forth. And we need to facilitate our ancients. Print up copies and have them available, please. Okay? And set aside time for reasoning about it, so that by the time we come to Battle of Ottawa, Iowa, 1st and 2nd of March, and I should be in a position where we can say, yes, most ones have looked at it, most ones have reasoned upon it, and if ones agree, then we ratify the thing. Saying if there are things that needed to be added, I know one area has to do with traveling home. Okay, the repatriation portion that probably needs a little bit more expounding upon. We had reasoned on it. We're quite Kwasi had put together a self-sustaining master plan of how Nyahbinghi Nyahbinghi Center should function. And I think that there should be a little bit more added within the guidelines regarding that. You see?
I was gonna bring that up because I think that every Nyahbinghi house should have a food sovereign system, a
Yes.
farm, and that the brethren who are administrating the priesthood should be farmers. You know, they should be employed working on the farm so that the house has an income stream. You know, farming in and of itself is a cleansing profession. You know, you
And the
can't work.
matriarch and patriarch should really have that connection with the ground, you know?
They should have that connection with the ground, that patience that it takes to be a farmer, to grow, take a seed, to nurture it. You know, those are the qualities you want in your priest, and then that can also help them to earn money for the maintenance of the center. And now that now becomes the foundation on which the development can happen. You know, you have a Nyahbinghi branded produce, Nyahbinghi branded value
So we
added
have an
product.
industry. It's
You have
important to
an
have an
industry.
industry. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
critical. It's critical
Mm-hmm.
because if we cannot employ our youths, you know what I mean, we're not going to
Mm-hmm.
retain the youths them. We send our youths out there. They have to go out of the Livity to earn
Mm-hmm.
their bread. It's not a far thinking strategy. If we
Yes, sir.
had agribusiness, remember, if
Makes
it's
sense, sir.
agribusiness, not everyone are gonna be a farmer. We need
Mm-hmm.
accountants in that. We
Mm-hmm.
need
Mm-hmm.
truck drivers. We need lawyers. We need, you know, so just because there's
Business managers.
business manager, just because it's centered around a farm, it doesn't mean that's the only industry.
And within that industry, Rasta, we need to be able to can not only feed ourselves, but we need to have enough excess that we can feed the indigenous ones around us,
Of course, that's the
and
PR.
and also to be able to can do things like, you know, dry. Am I showing sideways, or that I can
No,
say
no,
I
you're
should?
good. You're good. You're
Okay,
good. You're
okay.
good.
Yeah. So you know, that I and I can have things such as what do you call them now? You know, those machines that dry food, that you can
Yes,
dry,
yes.
dehydrate food. We need things
Agro-processing,
like, yes, I.
agro-processing,
Yes, I. And you know, the things like freeze foods and things like that.
cold
In
storage. These are all
Yes.
things that we are talking about currently.
Meanwhile, yeah, man, meanwhile putting aside like the plastic and the, you know,
Yes,
them
yes,
things that which we know no good for we, and a cloud up with irids, you know.
yes, yes. I want to
Yeah.
big up. I want to big up Bingi Shan and the Habisha family, the Kwaku
Mm-hmm.
Ando Sustainability Institute, which is a proof of concept. We've shown a lot of times on this network. If you haven't seen it, it's a 5-acre campus in Ghana. It's a Pan-African healing space, but the same building principles can be used by the Nyahbinghi Order for the Model Nyahbinghi Center, and that is partly what inspired. You know, years ago, I created a Nyahbinghi development plan, and give thanks. Even right now, we're in reasoning with the house, and we'll be reasoning with the house in Jamaica through the RMO and the Triple R plan, how we can, you know, create a model center there in Jamaica with the economics built in, all of these things, because we have the opportunity now that the hurricane caused this great destruction to really re-envision, you know, this model Nyahbinghi Center. And the dream is that the youths and born within the order can do internships within the, you know, the enterprise established by the order. They can earn enough money to support their families without coming outside of the order. There's so much opportunity.
Rasta, within, as we talk about the guidelines, you know, a very important thing that needs to be addressed is membership. I know that Jamaica was on it, saying, but with Melissa hit them hard. I don't think any more reasoning has taken place so far, but they have embraced the importance of membership. Okay,
Critical.
and then once I and I have membership now, then we can talk about our and we have ratified the guidelines, of course. Then we can talk about putting funds together me have my little part for add to it. Everybody can put a little piece and I put a little, and I could go and build it up. Because when I was in Ethiopia, the foreign minister was asking me, so how many people? I'm gonna give him a number and him say, and how much money you have to invest? I'm gonna start buck shuffle. I couldn't answer the question positively. So we need to have that in place. If it means ones who can get some sort of reparations that can be applied to repatriation, and I welcome that. See, in the meantime, let's help ourselves. See, let us put together what you call it now, a treasury, a secretariat, and then have a treasury connected to it where the funds go in and have checks and balances in place. So we don't have nothing happening that should not happen regarding these funds. And we hold ourselves accountable, saying, and then let us build some funds. So we can, because we can, I cannot go back to the government of Ethiopia right now asking for land Rasta. And we don't have no kind of economics to invest in it. See? And I do hope that as I appeal to the ones who really think about it and recognize the importance of it, see,
Yes.
let us by March just really get ourselves into the guidelines so that we can ratify it, okay? And that each region can now focus on membership and we can talk about a global secretariat, see, a global secretariat that can handle our things globally and can we can put our accumulate or whatever funds we have, everybody little we have within each region, we can put it together in these places and we can put together delegations that can go and approach the government of Ethiopia and any other government within Africa. So them can see we're serious, we have our money to invest and we're not joke it out. See? So yes, Russ.
Bingy Glenn,
Yes, I.
I was just taking time out to check the comments, guy. I see you brought it to the attention. We were checking comments. Next time we have
Yes.
comments and write down some of the important things. We have this here.
Something, there's some background noise, Rastafari, we're not hearing the eye so clear.
If you're traveling, you probably would need to put your. Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. Let me see if it solves.
Talk now.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Is there a fan? Is there a fan on?
Hey?
Do you have a fan?
Oh, yes, a fan is on. Let me get it out. You're keen on that one, It's a fan. All right. So, what is happening now? Someone said a lot of stuff, but ones are, gratified, giving thanks and all, you always have the sarcastic remarks.
Yes.
But there was one person say, "Oh, I heard that the guideline justifies a Rastaman marrying a white person." Bingy Glenn, speak to that in clarity, or find something that speaks to unions. Because we
Okay,
know.
I prefer to read from the guideline, but
Yeah. So someone
go and talk while I find
But
that.
as we are saying, what we advise ones to do, get a copy. Bingy Glenn, where can you say to ones? Because we could say, if you're part of a Nyahbinghi, we have made effort to send it to all the global Nyahbinghi spaces we know. Yeah? But I think, Bingy Glenn, we should have it out that, anyone where need it can access it to say, let me look at what Rastafari is all about from a Nyahbinghi standpoint. Yeah?
And that's important because this is not for all Rastafari. This is Nyahbinghi.
This is Nyahbinghi.
Nyahbinghi is a special force within Rastafari that was created to preserve the integrity of the black race. You have to put that part in there. But go ahead, Bingy Glenn.
I'm searching for it. Go ahead. Continue speaking, please.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So one's need for it because many races, from my position, if you live to the guideline, Rasta is a task, brother. Because you have to really have a sense of wanting to live a upful Rastafari livity. And someone is afraid of this. It's like, man, want to hold it to certain thing. Some of the questions will come up. You have some man come on the platform in the early inception of the revision, and so they are promote one man, one woman thing. There isn't so much woman in the world compared to man. So his main thing is that him would mind the guidelines say 10-1 in a Babylon.
And our South African brethren, you know, they have adopted, you know, I've had several guests on here that are polygamous.
All right.
Up
So
to
you know them
about
not
4.
liking to a guideline where say one man, one woman.
But I don't think they any longer identify as strictly Nyahbinghi though. I think
Well, if they don't consider themselves Nyahbinghi, we don't have no.
No,
exactly.
Free to do what you want to do, but we are talking about setting principles that Nyahbinghi will adhere to from one generation to the next. And I remember when this brethren was making the plea on behalf of the many women, one sister said, brethren, don't listen to them, man, you know. The man who have 2 and 3, you know, them daughter lack health care and Medicare, and they're not caring about these things, you know. All they want to do is to open places.
Fire.
Hard.
So we are talking about responsibility
within
the family union.
All
Why
right,
you take on 2 and 3 and you can't even care for one properly?
Okay, regarding the Nyahbinghi man, it says here, on the question of personal relationship, it is advisable that the Nyahbinghi man of African descent maintain a monogamous relationship with a woman who is of African descent as well. So monogamous meaning only one wife. African descent, so ones who are of the same, you know. All right, so continue. Likewise, it is advisable that the Nyahbinghi man of non-African descent maintain a monogamous relationship with a woman who is of his descent or ancestry. If a Nyahbinghi man chooses to enter a relationship with a woman of another race or different faith, this is considered a personal decision. However, such choices should not be promoted or taught as part of the Nyahbinghi tradition. Okay, so that is that portion. You think that answered the question, right?
I think that's clear. Hold on there, Rastafari. Talk again.
Yeah. It depends on the interpretation that whatever person will read it have, but I think it's clear. It point out, because I mean, at the end of the day, we can't make a man do what he don't want to do. If a man want to do that, is his personal choice, but it's not endorsed by the principles of the Nyahbinghi man within the guidelines.
Yes.
So the person who conceive or tell someone that it is so, read it for yourself, because it is not.
And this is, you know, preserving that integrity of the youth black faith.
Yes.
This is part of the reason, you know, why I'm so passionate about things like the EWF for the black peoples of the world, the Nyahbinghi Order, because we have to understand that black people have been under attack. This is why the necessity of these institutions are so important. So it's not anti any people, but it's a recognition that if you love yourself, you will preserve the root of who you are, and that you will put things in place. If it has value, then it's worth protection. So we're saying that, you know, the black family has value. You know, the black Nyahbinghi family has value, and that is what Nyahbinghi always will be. Now, you have people in Japan, you know, they rise up the Nyahbinghi Order. They're rising up to preserve their root and in their way, and it's a unity, you know, across when we chant, is pure joy, and that doesn't stop a man from, as it says, taking a personal decision, because we can't interfere. Human being is human being, you know, but in terms of the standard set for the Nyahbinghi, it's clear. So I think that it's important, because if we don't do that, Jacobia, this is where I want the eye to come in now. If we don't do that, as someone who talk to the people about the youths of today, if they don't have the guideline, then what happens?
Kwasi, Jacolia.
Jacolia, sorry. I mean, no history sister, you know. I'm a new sister, so you have to take time with me.
So give thanks. I just going to block a word song from the wise mind of Haile Selassie, and then I will follow up on the I question. Glory to word, glory to sound, and glory to power of the Most High, Kanamawi Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. Haile Selassie on work. There is neither shame nor disgrace in a day's work well and truly done, whatever the task and whatever the rank or status of the worker. The farmer and the laborer who have toiled diligently throughout the day have earned their bread and honest sleep. But the man, whatever his rank, who has spent his time in idleness, whose hand has turned a little of profit or value during his working hours, has earned only the scorn and the disdain of his fellow man whom he has cheated. Have not those many nations, which today are called advanced, become so through toil and labor of their people? It is easy to begin, but hard to finish. A mature mind and a wealth of experience are needed to decide upon the time and place where strength and skill may be most effectively combined. Strength may be useless where skill is required. There is no protection from the demand that man's worth be assessed by his achievements. Money is an instrument, but there is no duty that can be fully accomplished with its mere persuasive power. It is better to till the land rather than to bicker on trivial matters. It is better to exploit effectively a small tot of land rather than to proclaim being the owner of a vast idle land. A pure materialistic art would be a tree which is expected to bear fruit without flowering, sacrificing grace and beauty for the mere utility. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be humble and acceptable in the eyesight. I nice strength and thy redeemer, the I who long liveth and reigneth forever, is the I who caused thy divine countenance to shine upon each and every one of I and I. Bless and sanctify I and deliver I and I every time. For I, as a youth coming up in Rastafari in general, you know, I came from an era where I would say Rasta was rich in love, rich in identity, rich in monetary. Rasta was a significant cultural standpoint on the island of Barbados. And it is very essential in this time, you know, even coming forward to the journey and seeing the standpoint we are at, you know, for us to, I always say this, dot our I's and cross our T's and be very instrumental and effective with the decisions that we make in this day. The guidelines is a very key point of access for anyone who wants to know about the spirituality and the liberty of the Nyahbinghi. And it needs to be embraced as such, you know, not as a rule book, but more of as a baseline or a foundation to build strength and unity. So for me, actually being on the call as well, I can say I definitely learned a lot. And in this time like Kwazi was saying earlier on the call, you know, this is the time for I and I to really put our skills that we have acquired together as a people to ensure the longevity of our traditions. So that's my humble opinion, you know, on the guidelines. And I would hope that nothing but positivity, upfulness, and uprightness will come from this reconstruction, and that I as a people will move together in a positive direction, like-minded, with one clear vision to execute, you know, the strategic things that we need to do in this time to secure us as a people, even in terms of repatriation.
Rastafari. The judge must Kwasi, could I feel a few questions? Just feel a few questions.
All right. Let me go to the comments. We have a whole heap of comments. The comments have been jumping here. Let's take some comments. First of all, I want to big up everyone who has contributed financially during this live. I see 2 contributions. I don't want the item leave these people lonely. There's a dollar sign above the comment section. If you love the reasoning and you value what we're doing here, support the platform. Give a attribution, $5, even $1. We do give thanks. We are looking to scale this operation and to make it better and bring more programming, hire editors, and really bring a world-class Rastafari media operation to the global family. You know, that was the vision that we're doing here. But we have to start somewhere, so we give thanks. So let's look at some comments, and then we'll get some final sounds. We went over time, but everyone has been blocking such essential sounds. It is such a blessing to have a global connection. May we continue to learn how to increase our cooperation, coordination, and effective activity for a beneficent purpose. Big up yourself. In some school is the first discipline. Okay, not sure the fullness, but we give thanks. Our elder Johnny Johnson is in the house. When trying to learn spiritual divine grace, ISIS protection, love, peace, happiness, joy, success, prosperity, and money, one must set his heart upon Jah, him, Haile Selassie I, the chapel. Big up yourself, Elder Johnny Johnson, for the sound. I forgive our elders for their ignorance. It was not their fault that they didn't have a clear understanding of the Ethiopian history nor the 20th century geopolitics neither. It was a good trod, but idealism. Okay, what would I say to that as one who studied at the feet of some of the legendary elders, Ras Ivi? What would you say to that comment?
Listening, but never getting clearly what was his position, what he was asking, or his comment. You know, never get it fully.
His comment was, I forgive our elders for their ignorance. It was not their fault that they didn't have a clear understanding of Ethiopian history nor 20th century geopolitics neither. It was a good trod, but idealism.
Well, I give thanks to the elders, you know, because it's through them we get the knowledge of Ethiopia and what Ethiopia represented in terms of its origination of a livity that brought us Rastafari, because through Emperor Haile Selassie I, we come see and hold on to this livity. I mean, 20th century politics, and that was not what the movement was really about, but in terms of the study and the history of Ethiopia and Haile Selassie, that was central to I and I. Yes, they had their shortcomings, because here comes another generation now who is more learned, who have more access to information, you know, have more access to speeches of His Majesty. So each generation played their role, and the elders played their role, a pivotal role in making Rastafari what it is today. It's them lay the foundation. So we have to give thanks.
Without question, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Serious I meet men, and I say I can't put any blame on the Asians, because when I go to a village in Ghana and a little child can run out and say, Jah, Rastafari, and heal I, it means that the elder broke these barriers globally, that I could get the goodwill that was laid by a one that I never even met, you know, or maybe transitioned before I was born. So the elders did their job, but I think our generation, myself, even the Rasaiva, the is an elder now. When I met the you were a mature adult, you know, one of the brethren I look up to as a young Ras, but now you're gone in an elder status, gray beard, and fully, you know what I mean? But even the eye now, we can't look to the eye as a man where I go do certain heavy lifting. Is the mature adults or young adults, the youth, them
Each
have to rise,
generation have their
yeah,
role
man,
to
and
play the
add
jazz man.
and
And
add. The eye did the, yeah, the eye
the
did the
baton is
guideline.
still passed on.
Highly,
You know,
highly.
and we have to
So
give thanks to the work of our forebears, guys. If it was not for Rastafari in the lives of I and so many across the globe, what we would have been. Where's the Africanness, the African pride, that dignity, you know, in terms of how we live, the brotherhood of man. Is Rasta brought this and teach that across the world, you know. Some police officers would tell you that, boy, if it wasn't for Rastafari, we work would have been so hard, and if we did have more of them, we would not have the spate of violence and illicit behavior where we see happening today. You know, so we have to give credit to the ancients them for those works. You know, and we
yeah,
see the global spread of Rastafari today. You know, we
let
have the
me let me
Nyahbinghi in Spanish, we have Nyahbinghi in the African tongues, we have Nyahbinghi across all the spheres of the world's kingdom. You know, see? So we have to give thanks for those who
and,
held on unbendingly to this trad despite the persecution,
and
yeah, despite the trials, the crosses, the wickedness that was meted out to Rastafari.
and let me also acknowledge that the crown I'm wearing is one of Ras Ivi creation. You know, a lot of ones wonder where I get these crowns. I wear them all the time. Ras Ivi creation. You know, from where youth are come up in the big girls. We love the majesty and them. So we give thanks. The
No,
eye,
that's not. Part of the
yeah,
work is promulgating the livity of Rastafari. So when I make a hat and a man look upon that, he must remember when His Majesty was King of Shower. When they
yes,
wear that particular crown. You have one when you look at
exactly,
it, you remember the 1930 coronation. You look
yes.
at a Rastafari crown. And my brethren Rascal always said to me, Sir Ras Ivi, every sample of crown you make, you must give one to the Jasmine Kwasi because he's pride in wearing these crowns. And listen, you
We
know,
need a
just before,
sponsorship. We need a sponsorship. Yes.
yes, to supply the eye with these crowns. Because you have no the Jasmine. Just I was a little late for the start of the meeting. Now remember, so the time I cut was so quick. I was making 2 crowns just like that one.
Okay.
And I said, wow, the black and white. I was just completing 2 of those same crowns that I have on. So the
Indeed.
meditation is here. But it's Rastafari creativity, you know. We love to
Yes.
create things that, you know,
Economic
speaks to,
foundation. And the Nyahbinghi
yeah,
could have a line of terms, you know what I mean? And these things we need to interact. But I want to get to this comment. This
yes,
brethren
sir.
said Elder Burnett Sealy, which is Bongo Wisely. Big up Bongo Wisely in the comment section. Always keeping the fire blazing. Nyahbinghi Elder out of St. Lucia. Big up Bongo Wisely. Never leave us out. Elder Bongo Wisely, bless. I am in Botswana. Big up in Botswana, Lion Pride. You see how the platform global. He said, bless. I am in Botswana nation, my Lord. Through decades, I go from town to country to city to country, town. Every locals, the group was sometimes small. So you're saying you go from the city to the town. And I think as well, where possible, the Nyahbinghi center should be outside of the city, you know? So there can be an agricultural part of the Nyahbinghi center. And if the Nyahbinghi center is in the city, like, you know, you would have a Brooklyn Nyahbinghi house, they should still have some type of storefront where they could sell finished products or value-added ITAL products, you know. But there should always be that enterprise based on agriculture as part of the Nyahbinghi house. This is something I'm chanting for very
Well, see,
strongly.
that I am pioneering that very much. So I pioneer that.
Say that, my sister.
I pioneer those works, you know. I pioneer those type of works because
Okay.
at the end of the day, look what happened in COVID, you know. Look at how things are going right now. If we don't have food, we cannot survive as a people, you know. We have to build infrastructure with the talents that we do have right now that are available to us and pass these talents on to the younger generation. Rastafari has managed to build a cultural worldwide when it comes to jewelry, hats, clothing. I mean, red, yellow, and green is now used even in non-Rastafari affiliated clothing, you know. So it's a lot of work we have to do to really own ourselves as a people and carry out strategic works. But I definitely endorse that as a person that has traveled to many different places. If we can get a collective unit of very like-minded people towards a goal like this, it will speak volumes to where we can get as a people in a short space of time. It doesn't take a long time. It just takes the dedication and like-mindedness.
Give thanks, give thanks. We see ones tuning in from all over the world. I said, yeah, I'm on Dominican brethren called Hot and Peppery Burnout a Swine. Him say all like 12 whole peppers in the ital pot. I'm glad I came to the Livity after that era, cause I don't like my I don't like my pot too hot. So I'm glad I missed that era. I came right in the middle of the Haile Selassie Civil War that took place.
So, but that's just what I say.
Yes.
If what I am eating cannot be eaten by my prince, my little baby, if I can take a spoonful and put it at my baby's mouth, it's not good for me.
Yes.
I feel that whatever we drink, you supposed to can take even a little sip in smaller doses. It must not be so detrimental to the internal that you're going to have a sip that when it got to the tongue is pure fire. No. Because we're family oriented, just like the guideline is saying. Don't light the fire key now at midnight. Midnight, the babies them gonna sleep. The younger youth them tired and gonna rest. Light it when they are up, because it's a family affair. The youth must see this part of the Nyahbinghi Order. So whatever we do, it must be family oriented.
Yes, DC need them teaching there, cause a lot of midnight firelight we do at DC. I tell them the truth.
And then the families are not fully involved, right?
Yes. No, it's a reality. The youth them are sleeping by that time.
Exactly. So whatever decision I and I make must be decisions of a family in mind. Earlier days, we usually, like, we're going to have Bingi, say, in another region. We would send Bongo Time as the priest would go and see the region. He would come back and say, yo, enough ganja out there, enough sacrament out there, enough food out there. But you see, when I and I go, where the quarters was and where the toilets were, in the night is a far walk down into the bush to find it. And we said, but Bongo Time never think family. When him go out there, we said, never again will we send a man only to view the center. The empress should go with him because she will have family in mind.
Yes, critical.
And you see the comment.
You see the comment there. You see the comment. It's a good balance. I need the voice of the lioness in nation building. So Priest Isaiah know what him do when him send him daughter today. You know what I mean?
Yes.
His majesty.
And I must speak in relation to the guidelines. You know, you have some ones in Rastafari, in Nyahbinghi, where vets that the guideline is now saying the woman, the empress, should participate in our prayer ceremonies. Why should a woman not participate in praying?
Yes.
A woman must have her part in prayers. I hear what the jazz man. You see, when I listen the prayers, like when we're sealing up in the morning, we have 7 prayers. And we say, all right, based on the size of the congregation, 3 empresses, 4 brethren. You see, when you listen the man, I see a lightning, thunder, and brimstone, and judgment, and hot lava, and cyclone, and typhoon, and hurricane. But you see the daughter,
I came up in the era when the daughters were able to
their
speak.
prayers are more caring. I see, never pray for, the standard of upfulness and all, but when you listen to mother prayer, We need the mother prayer. So it's
Yes,
important. And you have some ones don't like that part in the guidelines where the woman plays her role in prayer also, you know. And we said no. And the elders had sanctioned that too, because even before some of our foremost elders died, they sanctioned what we are doing now. Because we attacked from 2008 to now, yeah, is another 18 years, I see it. And from that time, we had that, where a sister could pray. Remember, we had some brethren visiting from Africa, and that was their concern when they came to Scott's Pass and we surround the fire and sisters prayed. They were frightened.
Yes.
Because of your neck of the woods, that don't happen. But once we have to accept these
And
changes.
things have to change. As you said, in the early days of the Nyahbinghi, you had elders like Bongo Puro, and certain ones used to eat fish. They were fishermen. You know?
Exactly.
But over time,
Exactly.
the youths them come, and it evolved that the Nyahbinghi become an ital order. So we see things can change over time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
So we have to evolve. We have to grow. But I'm seeing some signal from my producer that I'm keeping my panel too long. Nyahbinghi reasoning for a long time, you know. We love chat, but I tell you, I'm at home. This is why I'm at home in the Nyahbinghi house, because we love long reasoning in the Nyahbinghi house, but we have to be respectful of everyone's time. We give thanks for everyone. I'm going to give everyone a chance to give a final sound, but before I do that, I want to just play for those who are just joining us. We have a big fundraiser coming up, fundraising coming up February 1st. RMO Webathon in conjunction with. Let me not talk. Let's look at the promotion.
Open your eyes and wake up now, my people. See what Hurricane Melissa did to my people.
My people, RMO, Rastafari Mansion and Organization in association with DARK, EWF, CRO, RCC, IDOR, TRAN, Global Run present a fundraising webinar called Relief, Rebuild and Rise, the Rastafari community in response to Hurricane Melissa devastation of Jamaica. Sunday, February 1st, 2026. Time 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. This is not to be missed. Featuring Prince Haile Selassie, Dr. Julius Garvey, Sister Carol, Julian Marley, Rocky Dohoney, Empress Sativa, Gramps Morgan, Kabaka Pyramid, Yami Bolo, Muta Baruka, Janine, Spraga Benz, Riza Islam, Priest Kailash, Dr. Bobby Holistic. This is in aid of rebuilding Rastafari centers as a hub for relief, recovery and resilience. As His Majesty say, we must become something we have never been. Greater in spirit, larger in outlook. Most High, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. See you there.
Big up Ija Star, one of our colleagues in the Rastafari independent non-aligned media. We have about 12 media houses, Rastafari-owned media houses that have come together for this project. The recovery, it's a historic media network. We have several Rastafari organizations coming together for this effort. We're hoping that this Hurricane Melissa will spark a new age of Rastafari unity globally. And the guideline is important because for the Nyahbinghi house, for all of our houses, you know, we have to get our houses in order. We're not going to get reparation, repatriation and these things until we're strong internally. No government is going to give us what we demand just because it's the moral and right thing to do. Governments respect power. They respect order. So when we demonstrate that we are forced to be reckoned with, that is when these governments will come to the table because they know that we are bringing something strong to the table that they cannot ignore. So everything we're doing is interconnected, interrelated. So I just want the item realize that this is a unity time, the time to put down the petty differences. If you're a peeper and you're watching this channel, I just implore you in this Gideon. I know some of the item now go listen, but I implore the peepers them. Clean up your heart and come. Make I and I come together, work together. We don't have to agree on everything. We can agree to disagree. Unity does not mean uniformity. But because I disagree with Ras Ivi or I disagree with Bingy Glen, it doesn't make them my enemy. You know what I mean? It doesn't make them the worst person on the earth. It just means that we disagree. Make we vote. This is why membership is important. Make we vote, majority rule, and we move on. We have to find ways to overcome these bottlenecks so that we can progress for the youths them to come. Our elders are passing away. And what I've noticed, and then I'm going to let everyone give their, because I'm a Nyahbinghi man, so I'm not talk something women don't know. Over the years, we see where the Nyahbinghi without that structure become almost like a dance. Man show up 2 in the morning, you know what I mean? Beat little drum, little time, you know what I mean? And move on that sacred vibration where we build from fire, key, light, and, you know, so this is why the rituals are so important, even though a man would say, boy, you turn it in a church or religion. But if you don't have those rites, and those psalms are chosen because these are psalms that were chanted around His Majesty, coronation, or different times, you know, so these psalms of David, King David, have direct relationship to the throne. So all of these things are important. And as a young Rastafari, as a college student, it was a discipline to I and I to have to go home and learn the Psalms by heart so that you could chant it in the ISIS. So it put you under a discipline. And as I said, when we used to get pulled over by the police in Washington, D.C., a police statement, you know, when we used to get pulled over, every man in the car, we used to hold our seal and we used to chant down the creed. You know what I mean? Every man a chanting a unity. And them thing they build with character. Whole heap of things, you know, police leave with because them come to the car and them just see that militancy and that discipline, and we were given that through inspiration of the Asians and the power of word, sound, and power. So we need structure. So I'm hoping those who are the detractors, because remember the detractors have not come up with an alternate system to carry us forward either. We have to say that as well. The man them will lick down everything, have not shown an alternate plan that will help carry us forward. It's just chaos that we see outside of trying to build some order. So we have to go in the right direction. All right, I'm long-winded. That is my sound. Kamiza Nyahbinghi man, I have to talk my talk. And again, my sound is that the order have to be structured around agriculture. The priests, they must be farmers. There must be an economic aspect to every Nyahbinghi house that is in line with the Livity, which is why agriculture is so ideal. And agriculture is not limited to being out in the field. It's agro-processing, post-harvest. It's, you know, value-added products. You know, Nyahbinghi could have its own honey. Ras Ivi is an apiary man, you know, beekeeper. So we could have a Nyahbinghi branded honey brand. You could have Nyahbinghi branded cocoa tea, you know what I mean? Where you grind it in a powder and you're selling the cocoa powder, you know? We could have all line of products, you know, and services from the Nyahbinghi house. You have farm tours. When people come to the Nyahbinghi ground, you lead them on a farm tour. Schools, public schools come in the day. These things generate revenue to structure the order, pay for lights. You have solar panels, you know, on the buildings. You have a community center. You have a Trueberry. You have elder care. You have temporary housing for visitors who come to the center that would be paying instead of going to a hotel. You have temporary housing on the ground. All of these things are part of the vision that we have to evolve our Nyahbinghi centers into and our Nyahbinghi order. All right, I'm coming off of the soapbox now. My sister, give us your final sound. Then we'll go to Bingy Glen and we'll seal up with Ras Ivi. Final sounds to the global family on Nyahbinghi Guideline, preserving this order that we love, that has done so much for us, for the next generation. Block your sound, my sister.
Give thanks. Give thanks to be on the call with the ones, although it was unexpected. But I would like to block one of my personal favorite psalms. Glory to word, glory to sound, glory to the power of God, Mary, Haile Selassie, and Empress Menen. I will sing of mercy and judgment unto thee, Haile Selassie. I will sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. Oh, when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within thy house with a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. A frownward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath a high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they will dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I will early destroy all the wicked of the land, that I may cut off all the wicked doers from the city of the Most High. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be humble and acceptable in thy sight. Haile Selassie I, Empress Menen. Selah.
Any songs? Just the psalms? That's it?
Well, like I said, give thanks. But as far as the guidelines is concerned, in Barbados, we are doing our revisions as well. And it is very much the hope that, like Bingi says, by the Battle of Ottawa, that we come to a finalization so that we can start to do instrumental things to build fundamental structures for the future. So it is my personal hope, that we can have more unity as a people, less conflict, and set that example of what a supreme being or an exemplary individual, to be more like the speeches that we read and less caught up in the conflicts of Babylon. What I have noticed since I have detached myself from the system is that if you build a structure, a secure structure around yourself outside of the system, you can definitely survive. And if you have a strong community around you, then you really don't need the outside influences. And as a people, if we can collectively accumulate what it is that we need to survive, we don't need to overextend ourselves in the ways that we do now just to be able to live a comfortable day-to-day life. So that is my humble word sound.
Such wisdom, I couldn't have said it better. Give thanks. Bingy Glenn, I'm not seeing the eye so clear. You look like you're on the move.
Yeah, I'm in the right moving right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give us your final sound.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me apologize again, take this platform take a little bit of getting used to navigate and things like that. And so I do apologize. And then secondly, here it is now. I had to come to pick up my ride from the mechanic. So now I'm on the move and that them can't see I'm on properly and thing. So, I want to say first of all, the Jasmus Kwasi give thanks for the eye, for the works that you're doing, the platform you have created, and that the eye is able to host programs like this, I think like with the first revisions, there wasn't enough follow-throughs or opportunities to follow through on it the way like how and I can deal with it right now, and this will be a big boost to one's paying attention to the guidelines and constructively critiquing it or giving it their blessing. Either way, we need to get this thing ratified We need to get the membership set up, and we need to start our economic initiatives, see, so that we can really balance out the thing. You know, like Majesty tell we have to balance out yourself. You can't be just spirituality alone. Yeah, we have to balance out the thing, you know. And you know, I like I said, I there Ethiopia, and I see the possibilities, but we need to come together as one, and we need to put all our resources together so that we can make the most of it. Okay. The Judge Muskwasi, I may approach that with a request again for, you know, for a second reason if it becomes necessary. You know, we have a Tron platform still, and it's just that I'm old school and I don't really know how to navigate and use up all the different options that are available to I.
Yes.
But we'll see how the time. I'll be in touch with
Yeah,
you.
man. The item are always welcome. Always.
All right, Kingston. And give thanks to the family, to everyone who has shown patience, who have stayed the course with I and I. We do give thanks. If and when we come forward to reason, hopefully we can be more settled and ready to, you know, reason on some higher level and, you know, get some more done. Enough respect.
Yeah,
Forward to
man.
the chair.
Give thanks. Mightyful. Ras Ivi, final sound. Ras Ivi. The idea? Oh, sorry. Let me see here. Sorry. Unmute yourself, Ras Ivi. Can you unmute Ras Ivi? Ras Ivi, can you unmute? All right. We're not getting him, but we went way over time. But this is one of those classic episodes. Again, the Nyahbinghi House. I see someone put in the comment about EWF, and yes, I'm a member of the EWF, but remember, EWF is not a Rastafari organization. EWF is a Pan-African organization created by His Majesty. So as Rastafari, we would still need our own internal governance mechanisms, how we live, how we govern amongst each other. And this is specific to the Nyahbinghi Order. Remember, you have 12 tribes, you have Bobo Shanti, you have Orthodox. I mean, well, Orthodox is not a mansion, but you have other access. So Nyahbinghi House is not saying if you're not Nyahbinghi, you're not Rastafari. That is not the intention. It's just for this particular trad. These guidelines are being set up to preserve what the ones them love about this specific trad, so that 50 years from now, if I walk into a Nyahbinghi in Botswana, you know, I can recognize it as such, you know, and that it maintain, you know, even though it may evolve, yes, but it maintain that foundation. And the key takeaway is that Kadamawi Haile Selassie, and I saw the comment that you don't have to say the first if you say Kadamawi. Kadamawi Haile Selassie is the head, you know what I mean, of the Nyahbinghi House. And I'm one of those brethren that is very much against a high priest. I shared that in all of the reasonings I was on. I don't like that title because I think mankind can abuse it. But you know, there must be some structure. You know, there's a representation, a spokesperson of the ones them administrating within the house. That is great. So, Ras Ivi, can you give us your final sound? Not hearing the eye.
Isis, Farah, Isis.
Give us your final sound.
In every aspect of life, there are rules. In the home, as a child growing up with your parents, as a husband to a wife. There's do's and don'ts. There's rules everywhere. I mean, in the school, in all institutions, in your country, your community. Haile Selassie I is a lawgiver. And he gave laws. He was the lawgiver, yeah? The man who introduced a constitution, the first of its kind in Ethiopia, second and then a third. So we know His Majesty is a man of law. Yeah, he looked at the fentanyl gas and him to say, yeah, these laws need to be modernized. And he was the lawgiver. So in I Livity, we have to be obedient to laws. It make we have a lax man with head. It make we eat certain way. It make we do certain things. We are governed by laws. That means we are a sacred people and laws govern I Livity. As Nyahbinghi, if we don't have a guideline, a constitution, a mandate as to how we live, that means that we accept any kind of looseness. So I think the Nyahbinghi Guideline is the best piece of document we could ever have, written out of the meditations and practices of the ancients up to present time through the scriptures. And I can't understand why one would have embraced the scripture. You never meet Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. You never meet none of these people, but you still accept the Bible. Yeah? And you still see the faults of many of these biblical characters, but you still hold a key to the Bible. But when you see a guideline now being spearheaded by ones who you know, who you get it from? Ones who you don't know? It must be Nyahbinghi man and woman come together to shape the laws that would govern the order. Let us examine it carefully, see where we can strengthen up in Livity, because it's all about a Livity. No one can say something in the guideline will lead you to lewdness and slackness and immorality, because as a unity of priests with more than 20, 30, 40, 50 years within the priesthood who came together to put this together, we burn wrongs. And we are look forward to see a precedent set now where succeeding present and succeeding generation can abide with a nice concept of who Rastafari is. Let us live in a way where we can be proud to be called sons and daughters of Haile Selassie I. So the guideline is one such document that will bring I in a oneness, in unity, as to what it entails to be a Nyahbinghi man and woman in word and deed. Let us look at it within that context. Don't see Ras I, don't see Bingi Glen, don't see no other individual. Look at what is mandated, what is written down. And if you have something to question, if you see something that are going to make we anti-Rasta, point it out to us. And that we can look and call forward a quorum together and to examine it. This is a document that is here to stay. And as I said to Bingi Glen and said to the unity of ones on the Tran Global platform, don't let us look for 100% approval. The Constitution, His Majesty put together, or have a unity put together in 1931, in 1955 and 1974. Not all Ethiopians agreed to it. There were ones when one of these guys whose Majesty had contracted to be a part of it, when him see the purpose of the person of his emperor is sacred, his dignity inviolable and his power undisputable, he said to him, who go tell His Majesty saying that the revised guideline, he should have taken that part out of it. His Majesty said, what? Imru, you believe that too? Where we would have been if it was not so. So it's not everyone did agree with it, but it set a precedent for a law-abiding Ethiopian nation up to present time. So make I examine the guideline with a fair conscience, look at it and know that, yes, ones have taken time out to put this together. And if we have nothing to say that can enhance the thing and make the thing better, keep by your mouth.
Well said, Ras I, well said.
Yes,
Yeah, we give
yes.
thanks to Haile
It's
Selassie
working
for
time now. It's
sure being
working
there.
time.
We give thanks for the commitment to it, because even when I am busy doing here and there, traveling here and there, I hold the rein along with the other ones across the region in the Hispanic community, from Ethiopia to all across Africa, the Caribbean. We give thanks to the work, and I know it will bear fruits, because all that is written in that guideline is a strength to what is called
And
the Livity.
Rasaibai, make a big up the ones them like Bongo Wisely, Bongo Jack, Bongo Grease, all of the ones them from the different islands who have contributed and, really sacrificed them time and efforts. We give thanks to all of the islands.
Venerable priests from all the Nyahbinghi mansions. We meet new faces in Sister Via and Rastafari who transcended. And I must take time out before we close the jazz mark to say to the family of Rashango Bako, hailing from Trinidad to the UK and has transcended, we give thanks for his contribution to Rastafari. He was the editor-in-chief to Rastafari Speaks, and he was with the Thunder in the UK. Great work, great brethren, who has transitioned, and we look forward to seeing the ones in the UK send him off royally as one who stood up within the Livity. So we give thanks, Rastafari. The words of our mouth, let the meditation of I and I heart be acceptable in the sight of Kadamawi, Haile Selassie, and let I and I, as a people, go forward in truth and right. Because Rastafari, as a way of life, is embedded with sacred responsibilities. You want to call it religion, whatever you want to call it. And some man have born religion when His Majesty has said, without it, he's like a ship without a rudder. We stand for it within the sacredness of what religion and sacredness should be. And that is what the guideline represents. Rastafari. Give thanks to Jazz Mark for the platform that is going viral, global. And some of the greatest exponents of the Livity all round, and ones who can strengthen the Livity of Rastafari in more ways than one. Give thanks.
Yes, and again, we always ask the detractors, come up with an alternative and present it. You know what I mean?
Sir.
Don't come with your mouth and you just attack and lick down things and you have no solution. Those days are finished. We don't have time to waste. Take your time, come up with an alternative and bring it to the table if you're so opposed. But other than that, as Ivar so eloquently said, keep your mouth. It's big people time now. You know what I mean? Serious people time now. We don't have time for just mouth talk. All right, family, there you have it. Another classic episode. We've held at least 50 people on the line, which is a great thing. I know hundreds will watch it after. We probably cut out some of the early part where the technical difficulties. So if you see it come down for a little while, we just edit it up and put it forward. But this was a great strength. Again, we'll be returning Wednesday, new guests. Support, become a member of the monthly subscription, our Patreon family. We've had 3 new people join since we had our competition. We still have the Jack. We still have Haile Selassie Ethiopia book. We still have the Empress Menen calendar. We have a major raffle for people who join the monthly subscription. You get the book, you get so much. We are building a network, so we need the monthly subscribers and support to stay truly independent. We need our family. So if you're on the fence, we welcome you to join. We have our monthly meetings. We're going to be giving grants to workers in the community from the contributions as well. So we're building a force. It's not just dry media. We're redefining how media interact with an audience. It's a revolution, and it's the lion voice. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the lion's voice. Ilai?
Greetings,
Selassie I,
Rastafari, Haile Emperor Haile King Selassie I, the first, the perfect. This is first man for Rastafari Indigenous Village, recognizing, accepting, promoting lion voice. Yes, the voice of Rastafari, speaking about Rastafari, educating Rastafari, preserving, protecting Rastafari. Give thanks.
Aye, Rastafari, mighty.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
Blessed love, this is Rastafari representing for the lion's voice. Seeing? Yeah, man. Keep it locked right here, sir. On to Zion we go. Lion voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right here, sir. Saying? Rastafari said that. Lion's voice.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Greetings, this is Junior Morgan of Bob Marley and the Wailers. The time has come for the lion to tell his story. And we have here the lion voice. So listen in and get nourishment for the stomach and for the head cup. Jah,
Rastafari. Give thanks,
give thanks and praise every time.
Great honor, great honor.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it's Exodus. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
It's AWTITUDE representing for Lion's Voice. Yes, massive. This is the time for I and I, the lion, them to tell I and I story, our story. Yes, and we reign and rule like this. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie I reign and rule. You can't take the lion vibes, people. If you no fool, cause we know Selassie reign and rule. Reign and rule. Selassie I reign and rule. Queen Omega drop them in the fire, pull from them, no Queen Omega, she reign and rule. Royal Kushite, ancient essence, Emperor Selassie in a majestical presence, flash of all sevens, projecting through I and I events. We sing a song for the king, we bring joy and blessing and understanding, yeah. We hear Jah every day. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie I reign and rule. Yes, I lion vibes, Selassie I reign and rule. Attitude say that Boondocks, Black Organization of Global Diplomats optimizing expressions to the world. Till the world, till the end.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.